traffic, we've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Crash on eastbound 70 after T in the left lane. You got heavy traffic back from the St. Charles Warren County border. Your westbound trip, gate for delay, Wentzville Parkway to T is heavy. Eastbound 270 minor slowing Lindbergh to 170. 64 East has congestion 170 to Laclede Station. And then at Hanley, a stalled vehicle on the exit ramp. That's in the right shoulder. Westbound has crowding from Hampton to McCausland. There's also a stalled vehicle on westbound 370 before 94. That is off into the right shoulder. And you are quiet elsewhere. Roadwork eastbound 70, the exit ramp to 10th and Madison is closed for construction. It's not going to reopen until late September. Traffic sponsored by Express Services, Inc.
You work hard. You know what it takes to succeed. Now it's time to put your experience to work and launch your business. For a limited time, Express Employment Professionals will give you $25,000 to open your franchise. Get to know Express. Visit expressfranchising.com today.
I'm Deb Snyder with your St. Louis Metro traffic on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
1380, The Answer. Weather.
We'll have partly sunny skies today. It will be very warm with a high of 84. Partly cloudy and mild tonight with a low of 60. Tuesday, mostly cloudy skies. It'll be cooler with a shower or thunderstorm around. Tuesday's high 70. Mostly cloudy skies Wednesday with a brief shower or two. Wednesday's high 70. Cloudy skies expected for Thursday with spotty showers and a high of 71. I'm Drew Shannon with your St. Louis Metro forecast on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Joe Walsh says we're at a stalemate at the border.
We're 18, 19 months away from an election, a presidential election. Let me tell you something. Democrats won't support anything to fix what's going on the border right now. They don't want to help Trump. Republicans won't give in much at all on the border right now as well. They don't want to do anything that'll make the Democrats look good.
The Joe Walsh radio program. Weeknights at 8 on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer. Breaking news. Stimulating talk.
Imagine your increase in sales with your web at the top of search engines getting first crack at millions of potential customers. We know how to make that happen. We're Salem Surround, digital marketing experts who offer a free analysis of your digital marketing effectiveness and suggest ideas that could dramatically grow your profits. Getting your website at the top of search engines is a process that takes unusual expertise. Our team can help you achieve. In fact, we can put all your digital marketing under one roof, give you monthly reports on results, and instantly move your dollars to the most effective areas of your digital marketing suite. Social marketing, geofencing, web search enhancement, event targeting, and more. There are no limitations on where you can reach customers with Salem Surround. Total market penetration for increased ROI. Learn more by logging on to surroundstl.com. Surroundstl.com, connecting you with new customers.
Common Sense Radio with Allman in the morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Give me land, lots of land, and the starry skies above. Don't fence me in. Let me ride through the wide open country that I love. Don't fence me in. Let me be by myself in the evening breeze. Listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Send me off forever, but I ask you please. Don't fence me in. Don't fence me in. Just turn me loose. Let me straddle my own saddle underneath the western skies. On my cayuse, let me wander over yonder till I see the mountains rise. I want to ride to the ridge where the west commences. Gaze at the moon until I lose my senses. I can't look at hovels and I can't stand fences. Don't fence me in. 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 Don't fence me in.
Don't fence me. Good morning this morning, everybody. Happy Easter Monday. Sorry for the slight delay, but let me tell you something. I had to put the new Allman in the Morning flavor into the disseminator, otherwise known as a diffuser. But it's a disseminator because I couldn't remember what it was called right off the bat. So you know how I am. I am quick, aren't I? I come right off. Oh, yeah, if I don't have a word, I'll just make it up. Disseminator. But it's not. It's a diffuser. Oop. Whew, I think I put too much patchouli in there. They're going to... It smells like a fish concert in here. Hey! I didn't think I put a lot. Oh, my goodness gracious. Get outside right now and look at the sky. It's gorgeous. If you don't, you're sinning on Easter Monday. Man, is that beautiful. It's orange and red and blue. My goodness. I wish I could take a picture of it for you. Well, hey, it just so happens I can take a picture of it for you. Hey, forget their little traffic cameras you hear about all the time. Why don't they have the traffic cameras pointed at the sky for once in a while? You know? Why don't you guys get hippie with me? Get groovy with me. Oh, look at this. I wonder if I can post it on the internets. Now, I got the reflection of something in there. I guess but it's gorgeous, you guys. It's just beautiful. So happy Easter morning to you. And, so much to talk about because, of course, we had what happened in Sri Lanka, which is the way Muslims celebrate Easter by killing people. That's how that goes. And, I'm sorry, radical Islam? Yeah, okay. So that's how they celebrate Easter, by just incinerating people. And you notice, by the way, that you notice that the news this morning even said that it's a homegrown terror cell. What does that mean, by the way? Or is that just another way of whitewashing radical Islam? Now, again, I'm not blaming these news guys. They're reading whatever's written for them. They're reading, a wire service report. It's probably Reuters or AP or whatever. They're reading from a report on the wire, from the ticker tape, and so they're calling it a homegrown terror cell. Which I don't know why they say that. Because apparently it's said right after they tell us that they know nothing about the group, nothing about what it is, no information yet, but they know it's a homegrown terror cell. Kind of like how they knew right away, oh no, this was a renovation fire for sure. It's like, what? Easter week? Notre Dame? I'm still not buying that crap. But yeah, no, it's a homegrown terror cell. Now, I don't know what that means, but what it's intended to mean is that it has nothing to do with any greater plot among radical Islam. That's what they constantly do every time something like this happens. They try to water it down. They try to make it out like it's something that it's not. Because we don't know what a homegrown terror cell is. Does it matter? Let's put it this way. If a Christian activist did something like this, how fast do you think they'd call it a homegrown terror cell, or just blame it in general on everybody Christian? Now, I'm not trying to blame this in general on everybody Muslim, as you know. But the fact of the matter is, at some point, my goodness gracious, when are we going to get with the program here and stop with the watering down and the glossing over? And even if the fire at Notre Dame wasn't caused by a radical Muslim, what about the 11 other incidents? Or it turns out it's up to like 180 or something over the past year. What about those instances? Then we're treated, by the way, to this story in the New York Times just in time for Easter. And these are the people that just you knew it was coming, because we had the piece on the History Channel called Jesus, which was good just in time, but it was always intended, I always say, to water down the anti-Christian propaganda that goes on around the holidays. I heard a guy, by the way, on the news. I don't know what you feel about this way, Phil, but he was on Fox News. It doesn't matter who it was, really, but Trace Gallagher. But nonetheless, he called Easter the second holiest Christian holiday of the year. And I'm going, okay, what's the first holiest Christian holiday of the year? Does anybody know what that is? because it's not this. First of all, it's the first high holy Christian holiday of the year. But in relative importance, it's the number one holy holiday of the year. It for Christians, it is. And maybe people have more fun at Christmas, but for Easter is the holiest day on the Christian calendar, period. But it's not just the holiest day on the Christian calendar. It's the first holiest day on the Christian calendar. So if Trace Gallagher were talking about the year, I don't know, what does his year start at Christmas time? Because even if you included Christmas in a year, which it's not in this year, it was in 2018 was when Christmas was, then it still isn't the first. It still isn't the most important Christian holiday. But it's not even actually in the same year. So it's actually the first Christian formal high holy Christian holiday of the year. What are these idiots? And again, if you don't know about the Christian faith, then shut your mouth. Seriously. I mean, I know I don't know all that much there is to know about it, but the media just blathers on. I mean, it's constant. They know nothing. But again, now you know why you get these attacks and these killings, because Christians are the bottom barrel stepchild, and no offense to stepchildren, by the way. But they're the bottom barrel thought in this country and in this world. And we're supposed to stand there and sacrifice our lives to these radical crapheads in the Muslim world. Oh, okay, now what's next in Sri Lanka? Are the Christians all going to go and burn candles and put teddy bears on a fence someplace again? I mean, hell, when are we going to war with these people? I swear, it's time. And that's the only reason why they kept the lid on this Notre Dame thing. I'm convinced of it, because there'd be another crusade. And I'm telling you, at some point, because it's already happening the opposite way. We're just dying by the dozens now, as opposed to by the thousands. And we did die by the thousands, 3,000 of us. In 2011, when Clapper, Brennan, Comey, all the rest of the gang were in full intelligence operation. Oh, yeah. Oh, no, Comey was, these guys were all part of this. Are you kidding me? They weren't part of a plot. I'm saying they didn't catch anything. They sure as hell, apparently, one of the things you're missing, too, and I'll calm down here in a second. I can turn these lights on. Lights are driving crazy. Turn the lights down. One of the things that you missed probably in the whole Mueller report thing, and I'll get back to the New York Times here. One of the things I think you missed in the Mueller report thing is, did you see how much activity there was among Russians that was never detected? Because as far as I know, the Russian meddling thing, I didn't hear Brennan, Clapper, Obama, Comey, none of those guys never said a word about all this stuff. They were our intelligence operation people. We're just now finding out about the extent to which the Russians attempted to intercept our elections. Right? We're just now finding out about that. I guess apparently along with Brennan and Clapper. Because they didn't know either. Obama didn't know either. Hey, I just want you to know, my intelligence operations seeing all kinds of Russian meddling. You didn't see anything. Now you know how 3,000 of us got killed on September 11th, because these guys were all running the show. Oh, I'm sorry. It wasn't happening? You didn't notice it? Why didn't you notice it? I know why you didn't notice it, because half of it was fake. Because you were trying to burn the Trump campaign. Half of you were stand-ins Half of you were a bunch of guys just trying to sting a sting operation. Which one is it? Is it most of you were fake and just trying to set the president and his team up? Or were they real and you missed them? Which one is it? It's the landmine that blows up when you step off of it, not when you step on it. When are we going to find out all that kind of stuff? But we haven't, because everybody's too busy trying to go after this. I mean, hell, 300 Christians die at the hands, and probably Muslims too, some of them, because Muslims they kill their own mother, for crying out loud, if it meant something. In Sri Lanka, and we're still watching triple boxes on this damn TV with CNN. I mean, it's unbelievable. So again, people, what was it after Friday, after Thursday's Mueller report? And I kind of regret that we weren't on the air the next day, but most of you weren't. You just left it up to the left wing crazies. And then how many of you were just harassed at your family gatherings over the weekend by these idiots? Because they're obsessed. It's their entirety of their well-being, the entirety of their personal view of their self-loathing selves is all built into Trump, hating Trump. And if they have any kind of issue with you and you happen to be a Trump supporter, God forbid you run into them over the weekend or whatever else, because they're always lurking around, ready to pounce on you at any stretch. You sit there minding your own business, eating a cheese and cracker, suddenly you're confronted by your own relative. Like, what? I'm sorry. Here, let me swallow this cheese here for a second and take a drink. What did you say again? John Dean said it's the worst in Watergate. I was like, of course John Dean says it's worse than Watergate. John Dean was involved in Watergate. Why wouldn't you say this is worse than Watergate? Oh, yeah, this is terrible. This is worse than Watergate. Yeah, of course. Something has to be worse than Watergate, or Watergate remains the worst, and you're part of it. That's why you got to call it worse than Watergate. I think the idiot wrote a book. He hung up on me one time in an interview. John Dean, that turncoat weasel. He wrote a book called Worse Than Watergate. I had him on the air. He hung up on me. I'm like, well, why wouldn't it be worse than Watergate, Mr. Dean? Something has to be worse than the debacle you were involved in. You know. Hey, where's the intelligence community? It's like, where was the intelligence community this whole time? The Mueller report lists time after time after time after time that the Russians tried to infiltrate elections, and not one time were we ever made aware of it by our U.S. government. by the guys that we're told we need to trust implicitly because they are so amazing and such patriots. Not one of them told us what was going on. The media misses all that because they want to. That Mueller report is shockingly frightening. No, not because President Trump talked about his administration being effed up, and it was, because the guy was in full panic mode. This has never happened before, where a sitting president saw below him a deep state trying to wage a coup and destroy him. So did Trump do a few things that otherwise, he didn't know what was going on? Thankfully, a few people said, dude, you can't do that. I wouldn't do that. But he's a human. He couldn't. He didn't know. So, yeah, of course. But that's not the worst part about the Mueller report. The worst part about the Mueller report, again, is the time after time after time after time example of Russians trying to infiltrate our elections, and not one friggin' time did Obama or anybody else ever open their mouths. Not once. Clapper, Brennan, none of these guys. The FBI they didn't even know what was going on. Not once. That was my takeaway from the Mueller report. I was like, wow, there's a lot of intelligence failures in this thing. From the same people I'm seeing running their traitorous, treasonous mouths on CNN. Oh, yeah. So look at the report again. Go back and actually do the work that these idiot journalists ought to be doing. Go back and look at what's going on. Look at the report from that angle of how much the Russians tried to infiltrate our elections and how little the government knew about it. So again, is it that they were shirking their duties and they were not able to see what was going on? Yeah. Or was it that most of them were fake because they were inside jobs? They were geared towards a sting operation. Which one is it? Do we know? Let's ask Brennan and Clapper, who were in charge at the time. You realize they were in charge of this, right? They were in charge of they were in leadership positions then while this was going on. Not one person asked them, did you know this was going on? Oh, no. Of course you didn't know. It's the same answer you had when we asked you about the arrests in London over a terror plot that Diane Sawyer asked you about. I don't know. Of course you don't know. 3,000 Americans died under your watch. Brennan himself, 17 servicemen died while he was, whatever he was doing, as a CIA bureau chief there in Kenya. So, I had two different rants at the same time there. Sorry. They're on parallel tracks. So I got to go back to this New York Times article, Nicholas Kristof, who spent an entire Easter Sunday debunking all of Christianity's anchoring ideas. Unbelievable. But happy Easter Monday to all of you. We'll follow up on this. Mark Cation's going to be here. I'm going to try to keep my blood from boiling over. Cation better not friggin' make me angry. I'm telling you. And he will anyway. I know that. He's got some excuse. Hopefully he's on fire about the deaths of Christians, even though he's not. We'll see. In the Mueller report, he listens to me before he comes in. He cheats just to see what I'm doing. So he's already developed. He's already Googled whatever he needs to Google. He's already gone to the master planet, consulted with the master planet. Zardoz, what do I say when I go into Allman in the morning? Oh, Lord. I'm sorry. I'm being foolish. Good morning this morning, everybody. Go out and look at the sky. Relax, okay? Don't get so uptight. You're like, Jamie, you're like making us. I know. Go up, look at the sky. We're going to take a break. Listen to, ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem. Ooh-da-doo. Ooh-da-doo. Are you going to play or are you just not going to play? Okay, that's fine. There.
From the Arrowhead Building Supply Studio, this is Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer. Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
We're accident-free and delay-free at this hour, but we have construction projects. One that has kicked off again this week, 141 southbound, Manchester to Gravois. You'll see road work there until 2:30 this afternoon. We also have midday work today, 9 to 4:30 in the right lane on westbound 64 on the Poplar Street Bridge. And starting at 9 a.m. and lasting until the middle of May, the exit ramp from eastbound 6440 to 14th Street will also be closed with road work. And traffic is sponsored by Indeed.com. Indeed, used by over 3 million businesses for hiring, where business owners and HR professionals can post job openings with screener questions. Then sort, review, and communicate with candidates from an online dashboard. Learn more at Indeed.com/hire. I'm Bonnie Green with your St. Louis Metro traffic on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
The kids across the hall could hear him snoring.
Listen to Steve and Carrie's story about Z-Quiet.
I can't control it. I would try not to. I would try sleeping in different positions. I'd say, well, let me try wadding the pillow up and putting it behind my head this way, or I'm going to make sure I sleep on my stomach or sleep on my side. And I considered the surgery as well because I figured there's no way some product on TV was going to fix a problem that I'd had. And so we buy it. It shows up. I put it in. Didn't have any trouble falling asleep. And remember waking up in the same bed and not having been nudged in the middle of the night.
Yeah, you forgot it when we went to the cabin. That was not fun.
No.
Well, the only time he's forgotten to take it on an out-of-town trip, and it was like stepping back into time.
Z-Quiet works for both men and women. Go to getzquiet.com and enter promo code SLEEP to save 20%. That's getzquiet.com, promo code SLEEP to save 20%. That's getzquiet.com, promo code SLEEP.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Jelly. Jelly adjective. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt US Kids, and the Ad Council.
Lowe's knows you'll do it right to get your backyard ready for entertaining. We do it right too, with everything you need to create an inviting space and save at the same time. Make the stakes to keep your guests coming back for more and save with $50 off select grills and smokers. And for plants that come back every year, pick up 2.5 quart perennials, now 3 for $12. Whatever you need to get a backyard you're proud of, do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. Offers valid through April 24th. See store for details, U.S. only. Perennial offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. 290 people killed, hundreds wounded in the Easter Sunday suicide bombings targeting churches and hotels in Sri Lanka. Authorities blame the attacks on a homegrown terrorist group, and there have been a dozen arrests. Some Democrats continue talking about trying to impeach President Trump. One of Mr. Trump's lawyers, Rudy Giuliani, says the Mueller report makes it clear that the president did nothing illegal. Washington about to turn up the heat on countries, including some longtime U.S. allies that import oil from Iran. Japan, South Korea, Turkey, China, and India being warned they could face U.S. sanctions if they continue buying Iranian oil. On Wall Street, futures are in the red. Dow futures down about 67 points. NASDAQ futures off 24. And S&P futures currently 8 points lower. More details at srnnews.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Our roads are still clear. That means they're accident-free and delay-free. A couple of midday roadwork projects. 9 to 4:30, you'll see construction in the right lane on westbound 64 on the Poplar Street Bridge. We had this project almost all of last week. And starting at 9 a.m. and lasting until the middle of May, the exit ramp from eastbound 6440 to 14th Street will be closed with road work. We also have construction closing a right lane on 255 northbound at 157. Traffic is sponsored by Express Services, Inc. You work hard. You know what it takes to succeed. Now it's time to put your experience to work and launch your business. For a limited time, Express Employment Professionals will give you $25,000 to open your franchise. Get to know Express. Visit expressfranchising.com today. I'm Bonnie Green with your St. Louis Metro traffic on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
1380, The Answer. Weather.
We'll have partly sunny skies today. It will be very warm with a high of 84. Partly cloudy and mild tonight with a low of 60. Tuesday, mostly cloudy skies. It'll be cooler with a shower or thunderstorm around. Tuesday's high 70. Mostly cloudy skies Wednesday with a brief shower or two. Wednesday's high 70. Cloudy skies expected for Thursday with spotty showers and a high of 71. I'm Drew Shannon with your St. Louis Metro forecast on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Hey folks, Allman here. I hope to see you Thursday, May 9th in beautiful Brentwood for Allman and Elder in the evening. That's right, Larry Elder coming to St. Louis, and we're going to wow you from the View 17 stage. And ladies and gents, if you pay $79 for the VIP ticket, what you're going to get in return, free drinks, free food, a free book, a lot like me from Larry Elder, the world-famous book about his dad. He's going to sign that for you. We'll take pictures. We'll take a tour of the beautiful Allman in the Morning studio, and you're going to get a great show from that gorgeous stage. It's Allman and Elder in the evening. Tickets available not only at the VIP level, but also at the general admission level for $13.80 at theanswerstl.com. Allman in the evening, sponsored by my friends over at Razorback Armory, the area's premier firearm shop in Des Peres. RazorbackArmory.com.
Hey, Dad, let's go fishing.
First things first, Sam. I'm taking you to Denny Dennis Sporting Goods.
Does he have live bait?
Yes, live bait.
Cool. Does he have enough reel spooling?
You bet.
Denny Dennis is the man. I want to shake his hand.
Shop local. Head to Denny Dennis Sporting Goods at number 1 Gravois Road in Old Town Fenton, and like Denny Dennis on Facebook to get in on their weekly specials.
Hey, Dad, I caught a really big one.
Smash here, people come up to me and say, hey, this people's praise party where the word is in the music. You say Jesus music? What happened? Got saved, love the Lord. And as a rock and roll DJ, I tell you the truth, as much as I love the Beatles, and yet you're forced to play Hey Jude for the 1,000,000th time. At some point you say enough is enough. I went and discovered a whole new world of great music on the Jesus side. And I'm going to bring it to you if you join me. 11 a.m. Sundays right here on 1380 a.m. and 105.3 FM. The Answer. I'm telling you, try it. You'll be screaming for it.
Hey, don't just listen to Allman in the Morning. See the show at theanswerstl.com. Now, more Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
The wine beneath the bed, the things we done and said, and all the memories that come glancing back to me in my loneliness, standing in the breach, beyond that stretch, but out of reach, and consciousness has found me sometimes wondering.
Come on, baby.
Where you're at.
Come on, Mark. Oh!
Take me back again. Take me back one more time.
Come on, Mark. Shake it, brother. Shake it. Let's do it. Go up straight.
Spanish Rose. Come on, people. Sounds like that guy in the Dennis Prager commercial. Come to Israel.
The way you pull the gate behind you when
You like Van?
I'm not that much fun.
I'm happy.
Oh, yeah. That's the talking points from Donald this weekend. Oh, I'm happy. Oh, he's happy to find out that he's going down in history in the trash bin of historical discovery about presidents. Yeah, he's happy.
Yes, boss.
I'm telling you, this is what Joe Scarborough does.
Take me back again.
What you're doing.
Take me back one more time. Spanish Rose.
Come on, Mark.
Be careful. You're gonna end up like Scarborough, and you'll be way on the left.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. So
All this music.
Did you listen before you? By the way, Maxie got a kick out of my Zardoz reference. He didn't know I knew about Zardoz. Maxie was thrilled. Zardoz is a real movie.
I don't know that one.
Oh,
and I know
sure.
so much.
Act like you don't know what Zardoz is.
I don't think
Right.
so.
That's what we're hearing from Mark. Yeah. I know you know it. That's where they dropped you off on the roof of this place from
Yeah,
there.
well, that's true too.
From the spaceship.
Yeah.
They drop him off of the roof. Dude, let me tell you something, a couple things. First of all, good morning. Good
Yeah,
morning this
and
morning.
I've listened to you, yes, all the way in, of course.
So you realize that, my take is a little bit different about the Mueller report, as you know. And what's interesting is we're here, all the same people who have been so angry about President Trump and calling him a traitor, doing that kind of stuff. This very same people, Clapper, Brennan, all these guys, they're all now clamoring over this Mueller report, not even realizing that the Mueller report shows a complete breakdown of our intelligence apparatus. You know that, right?
See, I disagree.
That Mueller, wait. Yeah. Mueller was, let me finish, though, real quickly.
Sure.
Because Mueller was the one who actually, it took a Mueller investigation to find out just how pervasive the Russians were in trying to intercept this election and get involved in the election. We would not have known this had Mueller's investigation not gone on. Do you realize that Clapper, Brennan, Obama, and all of our national heroes apparently didn't see any of this stuff, didn't notice any of this? Because did you hear about Russia incursions in our election up until the Mueller report?
Well, the answer is yes, before the Mueller report.
Well, some of it, yeah.
Yeah, but one of the discussions that all of these people brought up, and by the way, I say these people, the Brennans, the Clappers, that other admiral that they've got, can't pronounce his name right now with an S. Listen, all those guys are your guys. Those are the guys that we've never liked.
Who?
All these
Clapper,
intelligence people, the admirals, the Marines, the military people. Those are your guys.
I got you.
And they say, first of all, that everything was secret because of intelligence reasons. Now,
right.
Look,
That's how they missed 9/11. What's that? That's that explanation.
Well, now
there.
you're gonna.
Everything was secret.
Yeah. Well, what about Roosevelt? Are you going to attack him because he missed Pearl Harbor?
Yeah, actually, yeah, I am.
Yeah. There are people who do that. There are people who claim that
Actually,
Roosevelt did it intentionally.
Actually, I'm more mad at him for selling out Poland than anything else. But that's all right.
Yeah.
Never mind.
No, but I mean, look.
If you really want to go back and go after the dude.
No. You talk about the 3,000 Americans.
Who only rates a 10-cent coin.
3,000 Americans were killed in 1941.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah, so, there are bad people out here. But, look, the question is, because I listened to every word you said on the way in, the question is, what should we do about radical Muslims who want to kill us? Okay.
Well, you know what would be nice is if we just actually mention them every once in a while as a threat.
Well,
okay.
First problem is you don't want to go after Muslims.
No, I don't want to go after regular Muslims. There are millions of them in this country who aren't doing a damn thing to anybody. I get it.
There's over 1 billion in the world who are not bothering a person.
Right.
So and not to mention, I love to do this with you, and hopefully you remember. You know what Sam's is, right?
Sam's Club, you
See,
mean?
You said that the last time I asked you. You don't remember.
No.
Yeah.
I remember everything we talk about.
Yeah. Okay. The Syrian American Medical Society.
Oh, that.
Tens of thousands of Muslims.
I get it.
Who
I know.
Save our lives every day.
Right. Nice. Then what we get on the other hand is, first of all, this news coverage, which is talking about a homegrown terror cell. Like they know nothing about anything except they know it was a homegrown terror cell. They get that out right away. Why? The reason they get that out right away is because, again, this damn world media and international media and U.S. media, they will run and die for cover to protect radical Islam at the drop of a hat. These moods can run around and burn Coptic churches in Egypt, assassinate people waiting for a bus, doing all this kind of stuff. They get nearly a mention as any kind of systemic problem. It's always just, it's a homegrown terror cell. Sir, doing the news, what does that mean, that it was a homegrown terror cell? It's radical Islam is what it is. And whether or not it's homegrown or not is irrelevant, but it's relevant to these guys who want to water it down all the time and make it out to be like it's not part of a larger thing. And it is.
So how do we stop them? That's the question. How do we stop them? Look, you're a Christian, I'm a Jew.
Right.
Neither one of us wants to be blown up by a radical Muslim.
Right.
Okay. Now, here's the question. What do we do about it?
Stop making it out to be like every white male or
that
everybody
won't
named
stop it.
Trump is your enemy, and focus on who the enemy really is.
Trump is a traitor and an enemy.
No, he's not.
Okay, but look, he's one thing, but every conservative in the world is not. Conservatives are legitimate. Liberals are legitimate. Now, let's have a discussion about what to do about these Muslims.
Right. I'm not going to sit cross-legged on the floor with you here, dude. I'm telling you, it's about how to be vigilant and call it out what it is. That would be the start. But nobody does. It's all just, I guarantee you, this Sri Lankan news is going to be out of the news in 3 days. They'll be back to Trump again. We'll be back to hearing from Cory Booker again.
Because this guy in the White House is a dangerous lunatic. Ask George Conway.
Oh, God.
No, really.
Kellyanne Conway's weird,
married,
disturbed husband?
Wait, he's married to Kellyanne. He knows everything.
Michael, that guy needs to attach a hose to his exhaust pipe and just do away with it. Be a brave man and do what he needs to do instead of making everybody suffer around him, including his family. I'm telling you. I'm not normally a...
What about Don McGahn?
Who?
Don McGahn.
Oh, Don, okay.
What about him?
Right. I'm not quite sure.
Everybody's no good.
I don't know. I'm just saying, I don't know whether you can really believe a whole lot of what Don McGahn says. He's a little melodramatic, as it seems like a lot of these people are. He comes from the Comey wing of melodrama. And so, yeah, here's the deal. It doesn't matter what McGahn says. The reality is you have a sitting president who is watching below him a team of individuals from the deep state wrongly accusing him of trying to throw the election that he worked his ass off to win legitimately. How do you think a normal, average, everyday person is going to react? And I realize that he's not normal, average, everyday. He is the president of the United States. But the fact of the matter is you're sitting there and you're being accused of basically treason. You're having a trumped-up charge against you. You're having this Mueller investigation. You're having all this stuff going on around you. Is it no surprise that a human being is going to go into panic protection mode at that point and maybe not even know what necessarily the rules are? McGahn was there doing his job as an advisor on this matter. That's how it works. The fact that there are a million times when Obama or any other president has actually been advised on something that they know less about than the person advising them about. I don't know why that constitutes treason. The fact that President Trump didn't know that something was going to put him in legal jeopardy.
Okay, so I'll give you a good answer. There was a president who many of us despised when I was a kid, Lyndon Johnson, because of the war in Vietnam. And there were some things he did that were good, but the war in Vietnam destroyed him. And all those people out in front of the White House screaming every day, hey, LBJ, how many kids you killed today? All of that, right? And what did he do? Did he do what Donald did? No. He wrote a letter that you can read today to the Smothers Brothers telling them, you may be saying horrible things about me, but you know what? That's America, and I'm the president, and I have to take that because that's the way this works. It's our democracy.
Right.
So, you can be one or you can be the other.
It's different when you're a guy basically overseeing the deaths of Americans while politicians are basically ruining the entirety of the war. I mean, I'm just telling you that's different. I mean, you have different kinds of movements at that point. Bush had the same kinds of proclivities when we were in Iraq. So it's not beyond the realm of comprehension that the president is going to act differently when there are men and women dying underneath him than a president who is watching as a bunch of no-name bureaucrats, pencil-pushing creepers are trying to ruin his presidency for nothing.
None of those presidents, not Bush, not Johnson, not Reagan, nobody called the media the enemy of the people.
Nobody has ever called opposition party voters deplorable, Mark. I mean, come on. You're more concerned about the media than you are regular American citizens.
Well, that's true.
Sure.
Thomas Jefferson was more concerned about the media than anything.
No, the media.
He said it was more important than the government.
Look at the TVs. This entirety of the news media is stuffed with a bunch of people who have the interest of this country number 10 on their list. These people are so obsessed with bringing down the person they didn't vote for that's what we're seeing in the news media. By the way,
okay, go ahead.
I got onto a I don't know why this happened, but I got onto a Smothers Brothers loop the other day. You know where they are now, right? Do you know the Smothers Brothers now? They have a winery.
No, I didn't know about that.
They have their own winery out there.
Yeah.
The Smothers Brothers were great, man.
No, I know. And I've seen some pictures of them in their old age, and I look and I go, oh, my God.
Well, they're a little older.
We have certainly gotten older. Dick Cavett another one, He was so young, but we all were.
Dick Cavett.
Yeah.
Dick Cavett. Can you imagine Dick Cavett interviewing Mark Kaysen?
What can I tell you?
You do, and you love to have a little bit of chat, a little chit-chat with Mark Kaysen, this Dick Cavett.
Dick Cavett.
I know my talk show guys.
Yeah, I know you do.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But Dick Cavett was really an interesting man. He one time interviewed, you should see him interviewing Janis Joplin. I mean, it was a stitch. That cutie pie from Texas. Well, she's all strung out.
Listen, okay, there were a lot of people, and there are a lot of people who get strung out. That's another
Jimi
problem.
Hendrix he interviewed. It was unbelievable. All right, so that was my takeaway from what happened. And then we get New York Times, and this is another reason. And I'm not saying Nick Kristof is responsible for the deaths of people, but come on. Would there ever be a time when on the holiest day of a religious year, whether it doesn't matter whether it is Jewish, Muslim, whatever, would there ever be a time where where a newspaper put an article out basically debunking the main anchoring ideas of Christianity on Easter? Can you? I mean, what kind?
Why would you do that?
Well, now you know why we
Who
call
is
it the enemy.
doing
It's
that?
Nick Kristof in the New York Times.
Is anti-Christian? I don't think so.
He puts a column together and talks about all of his conversations regarding Christianity, and then questions the virgin birth and calls it a bizarre claim and all this kind of stuff. It can't be Thursday. It can't be Wednesday. It's got to be Easter Sunday, where he decides he's going to take on the basic tenets of our faith, that what Christians believe.
Okay, but there are people, and we all have a right to do this, who believe.
I never question their right to do it.
Who believe in science.
Come on.
And who only say, look, whatever it is that people believe about that's magical or whatever that they attach to their religious faiths, which Jews do also. But all these religions do. So, they've all got some story that they cook up that, people, part rivers. How come nobody's parted any oceans anymore in thousands of years? How come they only did it in the 10 Commandments? Right?
Well, I don't know.
I mean, it doesn't happen anymore, does it?
I mean,
okay,
it doesn't happen. But you keep in mind, though. Once again, if you actually did support science and were scientific, you realize that our timelines are in the tens of thousands of years. You realize that. So you're acting like all of this stuff should happen within 200 years. Keep in mind, these are biblical. That's why they call them biblical events. Mark.
Yeah, and listen, I mean, I don't challenge anybody else's religion, really. I mean, just what they believe in terms of all the magical stuff is one thing, but here's the other thing: the meaning that's infused into biblical writings.
Okay.
I mean, that is so important because it's all about
true.
Humanity.
All I'm saying is this is what we get. We get this this generally disparaging view of Christianity because suddenly now on Easter Sunday, Christians have to account for the scientific aspects of the Bible, which is ridiculous.
Only according to him, but here's the thing.
This is why
the
Christians
First
get
Amendment.
killed.
It's called the First Amendment.
Again, Mark, you're arguing a point that I'm not making, okay? I'm not talking about their right to do it.
Okay.
I'm talking, I understand they have the right to do it. It's like being in arguments with people where all they're going, well, I have the right to say it. It's like, no. I'm not saying you don't have the right to say it. I'm disagreeing with it. And this is why, though, we have Christians getting killed by the dozens seemingly every day at the hands of people who hate them because they're Christian. Christians are the most oppressed faith on this planet every single day. So why?
I don't think so.
Why the New York Times believes that it ought to be spend Easter Sunday debunking the virgin birth and beyond is ridiculous.
Listen,
but it's why we have problems.
Every religion has its problems, including the Christians who were part of the Inquisition.
Right. It's like on Martin Luther King Day. Is that the day to roll out the black on black crime stats and talk about black on white? No, it's not. I'm just telling you, you all have bad timing sometimes.
Well, bad timing is okay.
Better than no timing at all.
Bad timing is okay.
I get it. We'll be back in a second. It's Common Sense Radio. Your phone lines are open. The calltammy.com real estate listener line is 844-855-1380.
More Allman in the Morning coming up on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer. Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
We're accident-free and delay-free right now. Of course, the flood warning is still in effect for the St. Louis area until Sunday at 7 a.m. We've got midday road work coming up today, 9 to 4:30. You'll see construction in the right lane on westbound 64 on the Poplar Street Bridge. And also starting at 9 a.m., but this one lasts until the middle of May. The exit from eastbound 6440 to 14th Street will be closed with road work as well. And the on-ramp from Grand Boulevard to westbound 44 closed with construction until July. Traffic is sponsored by Express Services, Inc. You work hard. You know what it takes to succeed. Now it's time to put your experience to work and launch your business. For a limited time, Express Employment Professionals will give you $25,000 to open your franchise. Get to know Express. Visit expressfranchising.com today. I'm Bonnie Green with your St. Louis Metro traffic on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
You know, so it's so funny how many people ask me, like, do you really have a MyPillow? It's like, I would not tell you I have one or that I use them if I didn't use them. I'd never in a million years tell you that. A MyPillow. I'm doing a commercial right now. What are you doing? Yeah.
I've heard your commercial.
Yeah.
Okay. You really like it, huh?
Yes, I do, Mark, as a matter of fact. Yeah. What are you doing? I'm doing a live spot here. This is my moment to shine. Don't steal my thunder like that. Come in here walking. Thank goodness Phil knew better and didn't turn your mic on. You almost ruined a MyPillow commercial.
My neck was hurting the other day. I probably should get one.
You probably should.
Except for first I go to Eric and then I get one.
Right. Okay. Are you done? No. Because I'm doing a MyPillow commercial. We're going to have to start over now and pretend like you didn't even pop in on there like that, okay? Let's start over again. Good morning this morning. You know, I am amazed by how many people who say, do you really have a MyPillow? And I'm like, yes, of course I have a MyPillow. I wouldn't tell you that I have a MyPillow if I wasn't sleeping on my pillow, y'all. So that's the deal. I'm going to put you into a MyPillow. I haven't gotten Phil into it yet because I got to still go grab my pillow from the other one. Maxie's kind of my pillow, and he's loving that MyPillow. And so pretty soon, the whole entire world will be taken over by people sleeping on MyPillows, and people will be a lot more cheerier, and they won't interrupt people's live spots or anything like that. They'll be happy. And so if you get a MyPillow and go to mypillow.com/Jamie, that's your code word, you're going to get a 4-pack of pillows. You're going to get 2 regular MyPillows. Then you're going to get the 2 to-go pillows that you can take with you anywhere you want to go, and you're going to get free shipping. Now, you thought pillows were the only thing? How about the sheets? These are Giza Dream Sheets, 30% off. These are made from cotton grown near the Mediterranean Sea and the Nile and that area there. Mike brings it back. High thread count, such comfortability as well as sleeping you cool. I don't know whether you know that or not, but sometimes sheets can be so bad and so poorly made that it's hot sleeping on them. These are cool, satiny feeling sheets that you're going to love. And you're going to get 30% off when you use the promo code Jamie. mypillow.com/Jamie.
Curtains, shades, blinds, shutters. What are the best for living rooms or bedrooms? Let me tell you about the quality customized service you will receive when you call Michael Proctor at Proctor Drapery. Michael Proctor is an interior designer with exceptional expertise when it comes to window treatments for your home or business. Michael Proctor has served our St. Louis area since 1974 with the highest quality and value for custom drapery, blinds, shades, and shutters. He is also a top-tier Hunter Douglas priority dealer and your first choice for Norman Plantation shutters. Call Michael Proctor today and schedule your in-home consultation with Michael's mobile design unit. He will come to you. Weekend and evening appointments are available. The one-on-one appointment with Michael Proctor will ensure the look is exactly what you're looking for in your home or business. Cut down on the risk of error and make your home great again. Proctor Drapery is the answer. Schedule your appointment today with Michael. Contact Michael at proctordrapery.com. It's Proctor spelled like doctor.
Rick Pogue here with Arrowhead Building Supply, the region's #1 specialty exterior building supplier. Arrowhead has the widest range of exterior products, from the most economical and commodity items to our highest-end outside elegance collection. If you need a contractor, Arrowhead supplies products to hundreds of the best contractors and builders in the business. Call us for a contractor referral and rest easy. The Arrowhead Cube Home Visualizer tool means you can upload an actual photo of your home and change it with just a touch of your finger. Now you can be 100% confident in your selections before they are installed in your home. Our product showrooms are the largest and most beautiful in the industry. We make it simple to experience a full range of siding, roofing, window, door, deck, and even stone options for your home or business. Check us out at arrowheadbuildingsupply.com or visit an Arrowhead showroom near you today in St. Peters, Missouri, Peebly, Missouri, and Fairview Heights, Illinois. Arrowhead Building Supply. Building supplies for building success. arrowheadbuildingsupply.com.
Hey folks, Allman here. I hope to see you Thursday, May 9th in beautiful Brentwood for Allman and Elder in the evening. That's right, Larry Elder coming to St. Louis, and we're going to wow you from the View 17 stage. And ladies and gents, if you pay $79 for the VIP ticket, what you're going to get in return: free drinks, free food, a free book, a lot like me, from Larry Elder, the world-famous book about his dad. He's going to sign that for you. We'll take pictures. We'll take a tour of the beautiful Allman in the Morning studio, and you're going to get a great show from that gorgeous stage. It's Allman and Elder in the evening. Tickets available not only at the VIP level, but also at the general admission level for $13.80 at theanswerstl.com. Allman in the evening, sponsored by my friends over at ThrottleNet, your full-service IT support plus security. ThrottleNet.com is where you find them.
KXFN, St. Louis, K287BY, St. Louis. Listen to Allman in the Morning with Alexa. Wake up and say, Alexa, play The Answer, St. Louis. Now, back to Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3, The Answer.
Yes, my people, happy Easter Monday to all of you. And coming up, more of Kaysen, but we're also going to double back on the news media's treatment of the Mueller report over the weekend. Of course, they were busying themselves with all kinds of crazy things.
Have you read it?
They missed something. Yes, I did read it. Yes, I did. We've got the MSNBC deciding they were going to ambush Mueller after church. They waited for him to leave church to ambush the dude. That's unbelievable.
And he's a conservative, don't forget.
Yeah, whatever. I know you guys keep on saying that, but it's irrelevant. But we'll talk more about that. Your phone calls are welcome. The calltammy.com real estate listener line is 844-855-1380.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Questions being raised about whether Sri Lankan authorities could have prevented the string of Easter Sunday suicide bombings. It killed 290 people and wounded 500. The country's health minister says officials failed to heed warnings from intelligence agencies about the threat of an attack by a domestic Muslim terrorist group. That group is blamed for the bombings targeting churches and hotels. President Trump's lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, says there was nothing wrong with the president's 2016 campaign, accepting information from the Russians.
Giuliani called the Trump campaign's effort to get political help from representatives of the Russian government possibly ill-advised, but not illegal. He told 3 Sunday talk shows that there was nothing wrong with taking the information. Meanwhile, House Democrats are pledging stepped-up investigations into campaign misconduct following the release of the Mueller report.
White House correspondent Craig Clugston. Some longtime U.S. allies could be punished for continuing to buy oil from Iran.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is set to tell Japan, South Korea, Turkey, China, and India that they'll no longer be exempt from U.S. sanctions if they continue importing oil from Iran. During an announcement this morning at the State Department, current sanctions waivers for the 5 nations expire a week from Thursday, and it remains unclear if any of them will be given more time to wind down their purchases or if they'll be subject to U.S. sanctions beginning May 3rd if they don't immediately halt imports of Iranian oil. The move is intended to increase pressure on Iran by strangling the revenue it receives from oil exports. Matt Small, Washington.
Ukraine's presidential runoff has been won by a comedian who played the country's president on TV. Vladimir Zelensky trounced incumbent President Petro Poroshenko. World leaders, including President Trump, have congratulated Zelensky on his victory. Wall Street Dow features down 64. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
We picked up our first delay of the morning, 270 northbound slows, Big Bend to Manchester, and that's pretty much it. Everything else you're dealing with is road work. Also flooding. A flood warning remains in effect until Sunday at 7 a.m. So that has been with us for a while. You've got the exit ramp from eastbound 70 to Madison closed with construction until the end of September. 255 northbound, road work closing a right lane at Route 157. But everything else looking pretty good. Traffic is sponsored by eBay. You know when you're shopping and you find that absolutely perfect thing, that feeling you get, and then you see the price, and you're like, wait, it's how much? And then you get sad and eat a donut. But did you check eBay? eBay has that thing you want for the price you want. I'm Bonnie Green with your St. Louis Metro traffic on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Weather.
We'll have partly sunny skies today. It will be very warm with a high of 84. Partly cloudy and mild tonight with a low of 60. Tuesday, mostly cloudy skies. It'll be cooler with a shower or thunderstorm around. Tuesday's high 70. Mostly cloudy skies Wednesday with a brief shower or two. Wednesday's high 70. Cloudy skies expected for Thursday with spotty showers and a high of 71. I'm Drew Shannon with your St. Louis Metro forecast on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Dana Lash.
Kids today, you will be judged in this social media era as a 50-year-old for what you're doing right now. If you think, wow, I'm so glad I escaped that, just you wait in several decades to ruin your life. No, but if you're a Democrat, that's like having the Costco card. And you walk in, you just flash that card, and they're like, oh, it's okay. You can go in without being trashed and having your life ruined. It's great.
The Dana Show.
Weekdays at 1 on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Oh, wow.
It can't be.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Oh, where have you been? If you snore, the first time you use mute can be quite an experience.
I can breathe. I can breathe.
Snoring can happen when your nose is blocked, forcing you to breathe through your mouth. Mute is a comfortable nasal breathing device designed to increase airflow through the nose by gently opening the airways. Thanks to Mute, you get all the air you need through your nose and not your mouth, which means less snoring and more chance of sleep.
Oh, that's the best night I've had in years.
In trials, 75% of couples reported a reduction in snoring when using Mute. Available at Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, and other fine stores. To find your local store or for more information, go to mutesnoring.com. Mute. Breathe more, snore less, sleep better.
Common Sense Radio with Allman in the morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Give me land, lots of land, and the starry skies above. Don't fence me in. Let me ride through the wide open country that I love. Don't fence me in. Let me be by myself in the evening breeze. Listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Send me off forever, but I ask you please. Don't fence me in. Don't fence me in.
Man, this Easter terror attack is just unbelievable.
You mean sort of like when the Arabs attacked the Jews on Yom Kippur? I mean, these things happen. It's not good. What do we do about it?
Thank you, Ilhan Omar. These things happen. Mark, these things happen, Kaysen. For you just to simply say, what are we going to do about it? Again, remain vigilant, but every time somebody mentions the possibility that radical Islam exists. Stop running for cover every time. Stop ignoring the stories. This is a huge deal. I guarantee you CNN would be off of their stupid impeachment 9-member panels if this were a group of, well, probably if this were Jews or if these were Muslims. But they're Christians, and ho-hum, nothing to see here. It's the same thing with the Notre Dame. I'm telling you what, if that doesn't wind up being an act of radical Islamic terror, I don't know what is. And it's one thing to go ahead and be even-handed and balanced about the story, but it's the imbalance that drives us crazy. It was the fact that it was the shortest fire investigation in the history of man, and also that people were running around attempting to cover up for the thing even before we even knew what the deal was. It's one thing if it's not Islamic terror, great, but don't discard it while the fire's still burning. That's the level of seriousness with which the mainstream media, the world media, takes the threat of radical Islam. Again, I don't think they should have jumped the gun on saying it was radical Islam that did it, but boy, were they quick to suddenly just deny that there was any connection whatsoever when they didn't know. And not only that, we still haven't heard from most of the media about the 11 attacks on Catholic churches and Christian churches in France in the 2 months preceding the Notre Dame situation. All I'm saying is the idea that you just simply say, you know what happens, is not a legitimate response. And it's never the response when non-Christians are killed, but it's always the response when Christians are killed.
We have black churches that are bombed in this country all the time, and I want to say that we ought to be asking the question about why that happens, and that's fine, too.
All the time?
Yeah, all the time. Oh, huge numbers that aren't reported, what you're saying. But let me...
Tell me, no, wait.
But look, you
just said we have black churches burned in this country all the time.
Yeah.
When I know there was one within the past month.
That's right.
When did the other ones happen?
No, look, I can't give you a list right now. I didn't bring it.
You don't have to give me a list. Just give me one other example of one.
Well, no. I don't know the dates
don't
and
say
places.
All the time.
Yes, I can show you. But look, here's the problem. You won't take the bait. I keep trying to get you to take the bait.
Marquesas Black Church Fire Map.
I keep trying to get you to take the bait, which is
to a website near you.
Yeah. When I ask you, what should we do about it? And you won't take the bait. So let me just tell you.
We should go to war with these people.
Yeah, no, we are at war. We've been at war. Okay, it doesn't work. I'll tell you what works. Money.
Okay.
We can buy Mark, our way out of this mess by helping to create tremendous success among people in the Arab world, because it's the poor Muslims who are doing this.
We are in a situation right now where I'm telling you, it's a larger theme. You keep on saying we are at war with these people. We are not at war with them. The problem that we've had is this constant whitewashing, this debilitation of Christian faiths all throughout the world. We have Easter Sunday op-ed columns by Nick Kristof questioning the very tenets of the Christian faith and belief on the most important Christian holiday of the entire year. I heard a Fox News anchor say it was the second most important Christian holiday of the year. It's like, that's not true. It's the most important Christian holiday of the year. So, or let's talk about this. Let's remove the people, the radical Muslims like Ilhan Omar and that cap that she's wearing. What is that called?
She was elected.
What is that called that she wears on her head?
What's the difference? She was elected.
Well, you know why? Because I'm what I'm going to call it? I'm going to call it a hat from now on. I know it's called a hijab, but she seems to be able to reinvent words for things that occurred. So I'm just going to reinvent a word for her whatever that is. That I like her cap that she wears inside.
You're allowed. Do you know how many secular Muslims in Iran think that the mullahs are crazy? We should be supporting them.
We
want to fight people. We want to kill somebody.
We need a more aggressive mullah investigation. That's what we need.
Yeah.
And that's where we ought to have the investigation. If there's any M coming our way, it's a mullah investigation. Here's the deal. Again, it's an overall theme that we see. That's what I'm saying is that we act like We are such slaves. It's so embarrassing. Some Muslim wants a prayer mat. Where do you want it? We'll put it anywhere you want. We can put it. I mean, hell, you can't even. If you're a Christian and wanted some kind of church, and trying to run them out of truck stops and everything else. But the minute some Muslims like, I need a prayer mat. Oh yes, where, sir?
But there's
we're
a reason.
Such slaves.
There's a reason.
I'm telling you what. We have turned into just what radical Islam wants us to be, and that is their servants. And they will kill us if we don't obey. That's the kind of stuff that we need to be fighting and mentioning and calling out. Ilhan Omar and her veiled anti-Semitism, all that kind of stuff. I'm not blaming Ilhan Omar for the attack in Sri Lanka. What I'm saying is our reactions to these things tell us everything we need to know about why they continue to do it. Why do you think they keep on invading Western Europe? Because Western Europe, I mean, these guys go to Germany, can't keep their hands off these German women out there. So what does Germany do? Instead of locking them up and telling them to go take a hike and deporting them, they make the German women stop wearing bikinis. It's ridiculous. We're still slaves to these people. It's infuriating.
Do you know why we protect Muslims in this country?
The same reason we protect everybody in this country.
Yeah, because there are 3 million of them.
Yeah.
3 million. Almost none. But they are a minority, and we protect them.
Well, we protect everybody in this country, and rightly so.
Well, I agree. We should.
I'm not saying we shouldn't protect them.
But they are under attack.
They are not Muslims?
Yes.
Give me an example where Muslims are under attack in the U.S.
They're hated across this country because of exactly what you've described, which is not your fault. I mean, they did it. Okay, it's the crazies that did it.
You know what? Well, let me tell you something.
But you don't want the good people hurt.
Well, maybe the good people ought to pipe up every once in a while and at least exhibit some kind of anger. Instead, the one time we get one of them in Congress, she's whitewashing the entirety of 9/11. That's what we're getting from Muslims. Now you know why people are pissed off, because these Muslims who actually gain any kind of power are always like, I don't know. I don't know. 9/11? Oh, the September 11th? Yeah, it was fall, autumn, right? Yeah, what? It was an attack. Oh, well, I don't know.
She didn't say that. I heard her very clearly.
Something happened somebody
some people did something.
And she knows exactly who did it.
The way she said that, I heard exactly. They've made something out of that is not true at all. She hates what those people did.
Then say it.
Well, she does.
Then say it. Let me tell you something. Every time a white dude does something, Jamie Allman's got to answer for it, or Donald Trump does. Every time a Christian does something, yeah, what do you think? Nationalism. On Wednesday, we got to hear from that old, washed-up, Kent-smoking, bourbon-drinking, 12-year-old molesting idiot Biden. He's going to be in Charlottesville, and we're going to have to hear that whole thing again. If he keeps his teeth in long enough, he'll be able to spit it out. But it's going to be in Charlottesville again. So once again, the white people are going to be the worst damn people in the world, according to Joe Biden. He's going to throw everybody under the bus like Democrats and Republicans have done for so often. I'm telling you, pardon me, but don't tell me that Muslims are oppressed. I don't want Muslims oppressed. I'm just telling you, sometimes it would be nice to have somebody pipe up and go, man, it'd be great if CARE every once in a while go, yeah, that was really crappy what happened on 9/11. Or, yeah, this is outrageous. They're ruining our faith. But instead, they're just like, always silent about everything and never expected to say anything.
She's not silent on this.
Christians are always expected to apologize or account for what other Christians are doing. But Muslims, no. That's just somebody, we don't even know who they are. It's like, no, you guys dress the same. You do the same things. You're the same. Yeah, so I'm just saying it'd be nice. Again, I'm not ordering up the oppression of Muslims in this country, but it'd be kind of nice for some of us to be able to kind of hear somebody step up and just say, yeah, you know what, this is bad. Instead, what I got to do, I got to pick up a New York Times. I really don't. I got to pick up a New York Times figuratively or virtually and read Nick Kristoff's article about the virgin birth really wasn't real. It's a bizarre idea. On Easter. Stop it. People, that's why we fight. That's why we do this. Again, I don't want more oppression. I just want people sometimes to pipe up and defend. We had we had the minute right after Obozo promoted the Arab Spring. You know what they did in Egypt for the first time ever after the Arab Spring? You know what they did? What'd they do?
I don't know. I watched
did?
every inch of that with my students.
Oh, I'm sure.
On Al Jazeera, which was beautiful reporting.
Actually, I think Al Jazeera actually does in terms of national reporting and everything else, Al Jazeera probably is more reliable than CBS News.
No, I wouldn't say that, but very good. Excellent journalists.
On national affairs. On Middle Eastern affairs, maybe not so much. But you know what they did for the first time after the Arab Spring? They burned Coptic Christian churches in Egypt. For the first time ever.
Who did it?
The Muslim Brotherhood and all the crazies over there.
So they're crazy.
But we gave them the country.
What do you mean we gave them the country?
With Arab Spring, we removed Mubarak and everything else, and we shuttled it. Obama's like, I win Nobel Peace Prize for that. It's like, you know what? They burned Coptic Christian churches for the first time ever.
Do you know what you bring up Egypt?
You're making me drink water.
What a great example. What a great example. The United States paid Egypt. We pay them. Do you know how much we pay Egypt?
I don't know.
No, we pay Egypt billions of dollars every year. We give them the same money that we give to Israel. And we gave them the money, and the deal was, we'll give you the money, stop attacking Israel. And you know what? It worked. They don't do it anymore.
How about shoving a Moab missile down their throat? That works, too.
We've tried that. That doesn't work.
Well, maybe we need to try it again.
It never
Jimmy.
works.
Jimmy's on line one. Hey, Jimmy, what's up, buddy?
Good morning, everyone, and happy Passover season to you, Mark.
Yes.
And Jamie and Mark. With your recent comment, Mark, Jamie, I think you have the prime makings to bring on a special guest to solve the Middle East problems, because Mark Kaysen, with his statement about the people in Iran who think that the mullahs are crazy, if you bring on Colonel Oliver North to be one of your guests for a three-way panel with the three of you, you will be able to solve the Middle East problems, because Mark Kaysen has just validated the work of Colonel Oliver North during the 1980s.
Look at you, man. Mark Kaysen. Thank you. That was great. Validating Colonel Oliver North. Did you know you did that?
You know, I would like to bring up here.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Yeah, thank you, Jimmy. I'd like to bring up.
He's Jim to you. He's Jimmy to me.
Oh, wait a second.
Won't be nicknaming my people.
Sorry, James.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, I would like to bring up, I'll tell you who, Omar Ahmed, Dr. Omar Ahmed from St. Louis University, a brilliant neuroscientist who will tell you about Muslims in some parts of the world. And then I'll also bring up here Mehdi Rouhani. You know who Mehdi Rouhani is?
I have no idea. He must be amazing.
Yeah, I'll tell you, he is amazing, and you know him, but you just don't know his name because you've eaten at his restaurant, and that's Telena's. And Mehdi Rouhani, who is from Iran, will come up here and tell you exactly what I just told you about the Iranian secular people
he better bring some pizza
who are completely against all of the things that you're bringing up here.
Have him up, but make sure he brings a pizza, an egg cream, and some spumoni ice cream, just like in the old days.
He would love to, I'm sure.
Good. Well, I'm just telling you. By the way, what's your design? Have you drawn up a new design for the Notre Dame Cathedral? Does it include a dome, like a dome from a mosque or anything? Because it's all going to be ecumenical. You know, they're going to redo the thing.
I'll bet it's going to be redone beautifully, and I think it'll be great. And if it was burned down by Muslims, that's a shame. And if it was burned down accidentally, it's a shame.
You know what Macron's first stop? Phil was busy over the weekend, but I just saw this in passing headlines. Did you know what Macron's first stop on the let's figure out how to rebuild Notre Dame? You know what his first stop was? The UN. I'm not kidding you.
Wait,
the UN.
What's wrong with the UN?
The UN.
What's wrong with the UN? Yeah, the UN. What's wrong with the UN?
I'm just telling you, his first stop was the UN Cultural Architectural Committee or something. Right.
Franklin Roosevelt and Cordell Hull brought us the UN.
Right.
Thankfully.
But what's going to happen is this isn't a UN thing. If Macron had any balls, he'd say we're rebuilding this just like it was before as the Catholic cathedral that it was built to be 800 years ago. So instead what we're going to get is a bunch of everybody going, well, it's just a symbol of religion now. And so now nobody, people who haven't even set foot in a church are now going, you know how we ought to do that, don't you? It's like, oh, thanks a ton. But that's again, another acquiescence to the radical Islamic world and to this growing secular world. Everybody's supposed to hide their faith unless you're a Muslim in this world. Otherwise, you should shut your mouth. Whether you're a Jew, whether you're a Christian or anything else, you need to water down. But boy, I'll tell you what, prayer mats all over the airports for everybody. But the minute any Christian or Jew pipes up, you're ordered to keep your mouth shut. That's what's frustrating for all of us.
Yeah, that Europe is anti-religious.
I know.
It is. I mean,
I understand
that's their way.
Right. Well, it's not their way.
It's become their way.
No.
Yes.
Poland is not like that.
Okay.
And Italy is not like that, although I think some of the younger people there don't go to church as often as they used to. But Poland is a great example where nationalism absolutely works. And pride in your country, pride in your faith, everything else. So you don't see Poland being secularized. I'm just telling you. All right, listen, it was great to have you.
Yeah, one thing I want to mention before I walk out of here.
Yes, Mark Hasen.
Jose Martinez can hit a baseball.
Yeah, the Cardinals are rocking, man.
No, this man can hit.
Yeah.
I mean, he's hitting 340. This man can hit. They don't know what to do about him, but he can hit. They figured out what to do. Put him in the lineup.
I got my mom tickets to the one game on Friday that they lost, but yeah.
That happens.
That was a great game, though.
Yeah, but Martinez can hit. That's all I got to say.
I'm telling you, I know, and I think you predicted that actually a while back.
Yeah.
I think you did.
I predict a lot of things. Some wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
sometimes.
Okay. Mark Hasen, appreciate you. Call Tammy.com, real estate listener lines, 844-855-1380. It's Common Sense Radio.
More Allman in the Morning coming up on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer. Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
We're still just looking at one delay at this hour. That's on 270 northbound Big Bend to Manchester. A bit of a backup there. The flood warning remains in effect until Sunday morning at 7 a.m. We've also got road work out there. The King Bridge closed in both directions due to construction until the end of September. And the exit ramp from eastbound 70 to Madison also closed with road work until the end of September. And Yarnell Road closed under 44 in both directions with construction until 7 o'clock tonight. Traffic is sponsored by eBay. You know when you're shopping and you find that absolutely perfect thing, that feeling you get, and then you see the price and you're like, wait, it's how much? And then you get sad and eat a donut. But did you check eBay? eBay has that thing you want for the price you want. I'm Bonnie Green with your St. Louis Metro traffic on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Good morning this morning. In Banner Construction, folks, Bill and Sam are back as supporters of the Allman in the Morning show like they began in 2005 when it was the official reboot of Common Sense Radio. And so, man, big supporters of the Allman in the Morning show, and they have been selling the James Hardie product ever since that time. So much so that James Hardie, the manufacturer of this beautiful, lasting half-a-century siding, has declared that Banner is the preferred installer. They want Banner to install their siding. That's how great Banner is at installing it and taking good care of you. You can see what it looks like on their home visualizer, which is really just amazing. It's a piece of machinery technology that they're able to show you what things look like before you sign on the dotted line. What kind of color might look great on your house. Sometimes you can't tell just by looking at a swatch of it or whatever. You need to visualize it on your home. They can do that for you with their brand new technology. They do the James Hardie. They do the vinyl siding. They do wood windows, roof. They've done all three of those things for me in terms of the siding and the roof and vinyl siding as well as the James Hardie. Two different versions of the siding. Beautiful roof they installed. They're great at all of your home construction needs. So if you call them and let them know that Jamie sent you, they will appreciate that and thank them for their continued support of Allman in the Morning. 569-1050, bannerconstruction.com.
We know you're out there hiding in plain sight. Living a life of quiet desperation, wondering if you're going to beat your money to the grave. There's a better way, a better life at Lifestyles Unlimited. It's time to live the life you deserve. You can only do that by creating passive income. Let us show you how. It's just 2 hours. It can't be worse than another meeting about meetings or another mindless night in front of the TV. Go to lifestylesunlimitedworkshop.com. That's lifestylesunlimitedworkshop.com.
Health insurance premiums making you sick? Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. I have the answer. Dryden Camus Insurance Agency serving Missouri and Illinois. This is non-Obamacare, and you can enroll anytime. You don't have to wait for open enrollment. Why should you have to pay for maternity coverage and pediatric dental care if you don't need it? KDDI-INS.com. KDDI-INS.com or call Joyce at 877-695-0245. 877-695-0245. This is the answer. This is the solution. KDDI-INS.com.
Matthew Mitchell, the Matthew Mitchell Allstate Agency. Was just thinking about him over the weekend because I saw this car accident. It's the weekend. I'm thinking, boy, these people are this is trouble. It's Easter weekend. How are you going to get a hold of your 800 number insurance guy now? But if that happened to me, or if that happens to you, and you happen to be a Matthew Mitchell Allstate Agency customer, you have a cell phone. You have the cell phone of his staff. 70 years combined experience between them all, and that's amazing. And they're with an age-old company that is the largest publicly traded insurance company in the land. One of those things that benefits you from that is the fact that they're large and they make a lot of money because they have a huge portfolio, but they pass that onto you, that they pass that kind of success onto you in the formulation of not only low premiums, but low deductibles at the same time. The key here is they don't have to nickel and dime you. They don't have to recover every little dime. And oftentimes insurance agencies will do that because, and they do that through their deductibles, is when you call them and you have an issue, they're like, oh, sorry, it's $5,000. They're like, oh, never mind. And you never get any money from them. That's kind of how the game works. With Matthew Mitchell and Matthew Mitchell Allstate Agency, that's not the deal. And also, by the way, they have these young driver programs that are going to be great for you. These are young driver programs that aren't going to break the bank. Also, when it comes to your home insurance, check it out. If you have a home insurance policy with somebody else, let Matthew review it. I guarantee you he'll do better with it down the line. Life insurance as well. 855-QUOTE-ME. That's 855-QUOTE-ME.
The Dana Show, this afternoon at 1. Now, more Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Come over to my house, jump in the neighbor's pool. It felt nice, it felt so nice. And it was getting dark, you wrapped your long legs around me. I held on tight, lying in my bed. The unfamiliar sheets were so cool. On your
he has the My Pillow sheets.
When your daddy called,
Fast Joy does.
Said you were out of
He's there sleeping on sheets that were cool. He has the My Pillow sheets from the Sahara Desert. Good bowling this morning. Talking about pool hopping too, man. This guy's got it going on over there. Vance does. Good morning and happy Easter Monday to you. And yeah, I'm going to follow up after that exhausting conversation with Mark. I guess I don't have to work out today. We'll figure that out. It's not only 90 degrees in here, but Mark is a work. He just went up. He's just I could hear the spaceship leaving the top of the roof of the Allman in the Morning complex here. It's gone. Zardoz has left the airspace. Yeah, we'll follow up on what's happening over there in Sri Lanka, but also the media's treatment of Robert Mueller. They decided they ambushed him outside of church. It's unbelievable, these people. The media in action. And your phone calls, 844-855-1380. The call, Tammy.com, real estate listener line.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. Questions being raised about whether Sri Lankan authorities could have prevented the string of Easter Sunday suicide bombings that killed 290 people and wounded 500 others. President Trump's attorney, Rudy Giuliani, says there was nothing wrong with the president's 2016 campaign taking information from the Russians. He calls the Trump campaign's effort to get political help from representatives of the Russian government possibly ill-advised, but not illegal. Some longtime U.S. allies, including Japan and South Korea, could face economic sanctions for continuing to buy oil from Iran. Ukraine's presidential runoff has been won by a comedian who played the country's president on TV. Vladimir Zelensky trounced incumbent Petro Poroshenko. Dow futures down 84 points. More details at srnnews.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
We certainly don't have too many things to complain about on this Monday morning rush. The only delay we're still seeing, it has not changed. 270 northbound Big Bend to Manchester is backing up there. We've got your on-ramp from Van Deventer to westbound 44 closed with roadwork until the end of December. And the exit ramp from eastbound 70 to Madison, that's closed with roadwork until the end of September. We've also got roadwork on 141 southbound between Manchester and Gravois. That's in place until 2:30. Traffic is sponsored by eBay. You know when you're shopping and you find that absolutely perfect thing, that feeling you get? And then you see the price and you're like, wait, it's how much? And then you get sad and eat a donut. But did you check eBay? eBay has that thing you want for the price you want. I'm Bonnie Green with your St. Louis Metro traffic on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
1380 The Answer. Weather.
We'll have partly sunny skies today. It will be very warm with a high of 84. Partly cloudy and mild tonight with a low of 60. Tuesday, mostly cloudy skies. It'll be cooler with a shower or thunderstorm around. Tuesday's high 70. Mostly cloudy skies Wednesday with a brief shower or two. Wednesday's high 70. Cloudy skies expected for Thursday with spotty showers and a high of 71. I'm Drew Shannon with your St. Louis Metro forecast on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Joe Walsh says sometimes you have to stop and get back to the basics.
Because I fight in the political world every minute of my waking day, I overlook often the power of prayer. Well, I don't pray enough. And I don't respect the power of prayer enough.
The Joe Walsh radio program. Weeknights at 8 on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer. Breaking news. Stimulating talk.
This is Dennis Prager. I want to invite you to join me for a travel opportunity that may be the highlight of your year, maybe even one of the highlights of your life. I'm headed back to Israel in December 2019 for a 10-day Stand With Israel tour. A tour of the key sites and places meant to give you an unprecedented view of a world you've likely only read or heard about. Come home inspired, renewed, and empowered by the experience. If you've ever dreamed of seeing Israel, this is your opportunity.
Book your trip at theanswerstl.com.
This is Rick Pogue of Arrowhead Building Supply, excited to welcome Jamie Allman back to the St. Louis airwaves. Arrowhead Building Supply is your provider of siding, roofing, windows, doors, decks, and even stone. We have 3 locations around St. Louis, which gives you convenient access to our beautiful state-of-the-art showrooms. The Arrowhead Cube Home Visualizer tool means you can upload an actual photo of your home and change the look with just a touch of your finger. Visit our amazing website today and call us with your next project. Arrowhead Building Supply. Building supplies for building success. ArrowheadBuildingSupply.com.
Hey, want to talk with Jamie? Call 844-855-1380. 844-855-1380. And interact with Common Sense Radio. This is Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Good morning this morning, everybody. Happy Easter Monday. Good morning this morning. You can call the Tammy.com real estate listener line at 844-855-1380.
Here we stand, looking at a underneath waterfall, Garden of Eden.
You eat lamb, Phil?
No.
Oh,
I mean, I never have. Let's put it that way.
Are you? Is it something you'd refuse to eat?
Nope.
Okay. So my mom makes this just incredible lamb every Easter, and this was just delicious. Some people won't eat lamb. The kids love it, and I was over at my sister Allison's house, and a lovely place, and she and Bob are cool, and she has. So my mom brought it over, and McCool cooked it on his grill. You know, they were hosting us, and so she brought it over already kind of done, and he cooked it. And I go, He goes, I don't even eat, because he doesn't eat red meat. But I'll tell you one thing, for a person who doesn't eat red meat, he cooked my mother's lamb perfectly, my brother-in-law did. I mean, perfectly. I mean, it was unbelievable how a person who doesn't even eat the stuff can cook it so beautifully. And man, it was delicious. My mom makes that lamb. They call it the leg of lamb, and that's what it is. And it's just outstanding. So I hope all of you had a beautiful Easter. The weather was perfect. It was great. Got outside a little bit. You know, had to wear sunscreen as ordered by my skin doctor. Dermatologist. She said 50, but I'm not putting 50 on. I compromised with her. I put 30 on, even though I had to go and the only reason she didn't remove the other pieces of skin cancer on me is because I was still recovering from the fence wound. It's been like a winter from hell for me. It really hasn't, but I mean, things aren't that bad. But nonetheless, so they said, well, we don't want to, because I'm on my last leg of the, I shouldn't say that. That's not a good thing. I'm on the last leg of my wound treatment out there at the Missouri Baptist Wound Care Center, and Dr. Ludwig has been great. But I'm going to miss them now. I've been there for now like 8 weeks, and I had this huge hole in my shin. I don't want to get too gross, but I feel like an old man complaining about my maladies. But I was hit by that damn fence when the bird bath rolled over my feet, and then the fence rammed into my shin. And it's gigantic hematoma. But apparently, people just scared me enough. I had to go in and get it taken care of through the wound care center. And the problem is, they told the way if you let a hematoma go, it'll dig down deep into your leg and then go into your bone. Then they have to amputate your leg. I'm like, okay, that's I'm going to go to the wound care center and get this taken care of. But they do a thing called breeding. It sounds terrible, doesn't it? And when they breed a wound, it's like you go in once a week, and Dr. Ludwig, and they numb it up, and Dr. Ludwig takes a little knife and cuts around the edge. I mean, it's really. I had like a half-inch hole in my leg, man, half-inch down, but it's recovered back. So then I said, well, I'm safe enough then to go. Now I got to go to the dermatologist and get my skin taken care of, because I know I have like this basal cell skin cancer on me, and so I had to go get that taken care of. But they didn't do that. They did a couple things where they cut a little piece off for biopsies and things, and so they didn't do it all because they were afraid that I was already trying to heal from this other thing. So man, I'm a mess, but I'm loving it. How can I be so happy and be such a mess? I don't understand. It doesn't. I don't. It must be the coffee. I don't know. Anyway, but believe me, I'm not complaining. Do you see what they did with? But anyway, thank you out there to the Mobap Wound Care Center. I love those people out there. I'm going to bring them a big. Well, I'm not going to tell them. I'm bringing them a gift for taking such good care of me. And then of course Dr. Haruza. I'm not getting anything for free, so that's not why I'm not mentioning them just because I'm not getting it. I'm paying for everything. Actually, it's kind of expensive. I got insurance, but gee whiz. Taking a mint from me. All right, so MSNBC, they decided they were going to go after, and I was trying to explain to Mark, this is what makes Christians upset. When Mark was like talking about the Sri Lankan attack, I don't know. What are we going to do about it? What are we going to do about it? That's your answer? The thing that's driving us crazy as Christians, or Jews for that matter, is that seemingly Muslims and Islamic culture, whatever else, seems to be preeminent. Like you must not dare question any aspect of it in any way, shape, or form, and you must sacrifice your lives to their terrorism and shut up about it and pretend it doesn't happen. It drives us nuts. It'd be different if we saw, and I'm telling you, once again, I don't expect the St. Louis Mosque to have a news conference today condemning the Sri Lankan attack. They're not guilty if they don't condemn it. I'm not saying that at all. Because heaven knows that's how we live in this country as Christians. Every time a Christian does something like bomb an abortion clinic or do something like that, suddenly I've got to explain it. I've got to be the one that accounts for it. But Islam's never accountable for their murderous rampaging around the world. Never accountable for it. Even today on the news, and again, I'm not cracking on our news. These guys are just doing what they do, which is sometimes it's a rip and read thing sometimes. And so they'll read something that's put out by the AP or by Reuters. I don't know that for a fact, so I'm not trying to demean them that way. But the anchor is saying that the authorities believe it was a homegrown terror cell. Well, what is that supposed to mean? Why use that terminology if your goal isn't to water down its linkage to Islam? Because otherwise, and we don't pay enough attention to how stories are reported because we just take it for what it is. We just assume that, oh, okay. But inside, there's a motivation behind every single word that is written by the news media to be disseminated to you. Some of it might even be to the point where it's not even conscious what they're doing. So when they call it a homegrown terror cell, that's meaningless to you, but it means everything to the people who are trying to delay accountability for a radical form of religion. So that's what this is about, is when they call it a homegrown terror cell, that suddenly means it's not part of any worldwide movement. It's not part of anything, but it's just a homegrown. And it might be subconscious. I don't know what the motivations are behind the people who write that kind of stuff. It's kind of like the lone wolf. You know how they're always, if you're a Muslim terrorist and you do something as in one individual, you're always a lone wolf. Right? Am I right or am I wrong about that? You're never a lone wolf if you're a Christian attacker, which there are almost none. But you're never a lone wolf unless you're a Muslim. Then, oh yeah, he's a lone wolf. Is there really such thing as a lone wolf when they are acting on behalf of a radical wing of a faith construct? Is the word, why use the word lone wolf if you're not trying to separate that? Now, again, I'm not saying you have to blame every single Muslim for that. I have Muslim friends. I would never in a million years attack, I'm not going to call one of them today and go, so, what do you have to say about the Sri Lankan attack? I'm not saying that, but the way things are reported to me is always there's always a plot to kind of water down and reduce the impact of what clearly is an act of religion. What clearly is an anti-Christian attack. It happened on Easter. And don't think that I for a second have given up on my suspicion of what happened at Notre Dame on the day after Palm Sunday. It defies believability that this is anything but part of the ongoing attacks on Christian churches throughout France that still haven't been mentioned, by the way, by hardly any news operation on the planet. Except for me, some elements of Fox News. But you're not seeing, the New York Times, again, spends more time trying to debunk the virgin birth than they do accumulating clear and obvious Christian attacks in France and on churches there. If Nick Kristof would spend less time trying to debunk Christianity on Easter Sunday and more time investigating the run-up to the Notre Dame thing, maybe we'd have some clarity as to what's going on here. But instead, they just continually, time and time again, gloss over things and reduce the impact of things. It's it's getting to be infuriating. And I guarantee you that, and I'm now back to Mueller and going to church, I guarantee you there would not be a chance in hell that Ilhan Omar would ever be confronted while leaving a mosque. Not in a million trillion years. But see, but the similar news media and mainstream regard for Christianity doesn't exist the way it does for other faiths. And so confronting somebody outside of a church is like nothing to these people. They don't even bat an eye at how kind of wrong that is. Especially Mueller, who's done nothing wrong. But they confront him outside of a church. All I'm saying is you have to do the test. Constantly apply the test. Would this same treatment be of a Muslim? And pretty much every single time it's no. The answer is no. MSNBC. Following up.
We knew that he was going to be there. He's been there in the past, so we waited for him. Easter services, tried to be as respectful as possible. He came out the side door of the church. I did have a couple of prepared questions to ask him. Just roll the tape. Sir, could I ask you a couple of questions?
Try to be as respectful as possible.
No comment. Are you sure about that, sir? If he were anybody but the president, would Mr. Trump be indicted, sir?
So this is outside, and of course, I love how they acted like they were such sleuths, you know. Well, we knew he'd be there. Like, yeah, you mean like because he's there every Sunday, because he's a Christian and goes to church every Sunday. By the way, I'm not saying that if you don't go to church every Sunday, you're not a Christian. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that it didn't exactly take, you know, a subpoena or a Watergate style investigation to determine that Robert Mueller would be at the church he goes to every Sunday on Easter. In fact, that's the time when people who never go to church actually wind up in church. Usually, churches are packed on Easter. That's my question. I'm not going to get into it, but I've always wondered this. Like, if you go to church, why do you just go on Easter and no other Sunday?
I like the headline says, he's spotted. He was spotted.
Spotted this morning. They had their choppers up, huh? Hovering over the mass or over the church service. But yeah, I always wondered that. I was like, why do people? I don't understand that people just go to church on Christmas and Easter, and why I can't get that in the trash can when I throw it. That drives me nuts. That day, you know what? I'm such a pansy throwing. I am mad at myself. I don't give it any loft. Here, I'll do this. Let me do this. It's ridiculous. I'm embarrassed. I'm not a man anymore. Look at me. Can't even get anything in the trash can. I'll tell you what. I'll get my iPhone in there. I guarantee I'll throw my iPhone. It's got a little weight to it. I got an arm. I'll put next time my iPad goes south on me, I'll throw that over there. So anyway, yeah, they Mueller spotted. Good catch there, Phil. Here, listen to this guy. By the way,
we knew that he was going.
By the way, while he's interviewing him, like ambushing him, the guy's like looking down at his notes, like he can't remember Like, he can't think of the questions off the top of his head. So he ambushes the guy. I don't even know who this dude is. I've never seen him. But they ambush the guy, and he's, like, looking down at his notes like this, Phil. It's like, do you have it? Like, he's looking down at his notepad. What do you have to say about the... It's like, dude, you've been waiting for this guy. At least you had at least an hour. That's how long the service goes, at least. At least an hour to kind of like memorize 2 questions. Sir, hold on a second. Here, let me look at Mr. Mueller, do you... Looking through his script. Let me see. Licking his finger, going through his... do you...
He's been there in the past, sometimes. So we waited for him. Easter services, tried to be as respectful as possible. He came out the side door of the church.
So how do you try to be as respectful as possible outside of the church when you're waiting for him? Like, what would be disrespectful versus respectful? I guess it was they waited till he got to his car. That because they didn't get him right when he left. And actually, they probably wouldn't, because the minute he walks out of church, he's probably got 10 people around him who will punch the reporter onto the ground. Of course, they're Christians. They wouldn't do that. But what I'm saying is, they get all over him. Like, what are you doing?
I did have a couple of prepared questions to ask him. Just roll the tape. Sir, could I ask you a couple of questions? Will you testify before Congress?
Initially, he couldn't even get it right in his first question, because he was like, can I ask, did you hear that? I don't know who this guy is. Sir, could you ask, I couldn't remember his lines. So funny. Okay, roll the tape.
Just roll the tape.
Yeah, okay.
Sir, could I ask you a couple of questions? Will you testify before Congress?
The first words out of his mouth, could you ask, could you ask, it's like, how long did you have to sit there and wait for him? And he got so nervous because he knows what he's doing is just satanic. It's not proper.
Are you sure about that, sir? If he were,
what did he expect Mueller to say when there was no comment? He said, "Are you sure about that?" You think was Mueller going to just stop? Then he goes, "You know what? Sir, I'm actually not sure about that. I will give you a comment." Does he think that that's what this guy... Are you sure about that, sir? And Mueller's like, oh, you know what? You're right. I should answer your question. No, so I'm glad you asked. No, I'm not sure about it. Can you ask the question again? This is in his fantasy land. You sure about that, sir?
Will you testify before Congress, sir?
No comment.
Are you sure about that, sir? If he were anybody but the president, would Mr. Trump be...
Yeah, I'm pretty sure about that, dude. I'm not commenting.
Yes, sir.
Now that you finished...
His poor wife.
Now that you finished...
Sir, why didn't you make a recommendation to Congress one way?
And unfortunately, he didn't even have the keys. His wife had... I don't know how that happened. So he had to go around the back and get his keys from his poor, suffering wife.
Sir.
Are you going on vacation at least somewhere?
Did the Attorney General accurately characterize your positions on conspiracy?
There's one guy behind him going, are you going on vacation at least? It's like, yeah. These people, they need to be in church right now. Shouldn't be bothering these people.
Sir. I think it's accurate to characterize Director Mueller today as being tight-lipped in response to my questions, Joy.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, this is history in the making. It's an opportunity to ask him questions.
So why not just be outside of his church and stalk him outside the church? And again, does this cause terror attacks in Sri Lanka? No. When you do the sum total of that, would this ever happen outside of a mosque? No. Not in a million years. Your phone calls are welcome. Call Tammy.com. Real estate listener lines 844-855-1380. It's Common Sense Radio.
Call the show at 844-855-1380 and interact with Jamie on the calltammy.com listener line. That's 844-855-1380. More Allman in the Morning next on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer. Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
We now have reports of an accident on Jefferson Avenue at Shenandoah. 270 northbound, holding on to that delay there a little bit. 44 to Manchester, you'll see a backup. 170 southbound, Brentwood Boulevard to 6440 slows. 6440 eastbound, 170 to Big Bend, and in the westbound direction, Hampton to Laclede Station Road. That's gotten a little bit snug, too. 64 westbound, 15th Street to 55. Slight delays there. Midday work, 9 to 4:30 in the right lane on westbound 64 on the Poplar Street Bridge. Traffic is sponsored by eBay. You know when you're shopping and you find that absolutely perfect thing, that feeling you get, and then you see the price and you're like, wait, it's how much? And then you get sad and eat a donut. But did you check eBay? eBay has that thing you want for the price you want. I'm Bonnie Green with your St. Louis Metro traffic on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
All right, Bonnie Bonds, let me tell you something about the folks over at Dentistry with TLC, dentistrywithtlc.com. This is Dr. Anna Smith and her team, and the TLC part of it, okay, maybe it's a hug and a smile and a wink and a that and this, and a great bedside manner on the part of everybody. But the TLC that really matters to you is the TLC of convenience, tender loving convenience, I'll call it. So what happens is you go in. Well, first of all, you can go to dentistrywithtlc.com, see the number there. There's a number right there on the screen. You call the number. You can text her and say, hey, I need a tooth pulled, or hey, I have a toothache. Hey, I need my teeth cleaned. Hey, my gums are bleeding. Whatever it happens to be, and she can get you in within 2 days. If she doesn't, she gives you $50. And while you're there, if she's working on the toothache or the cavity, whatever, and she finds something else wrong with your teeth, she will come in and she will go ahead and get it taken care of same day. So she'll say, hey, if you can just wait 20 minutes, I'll take care of it for you this way. That means you don't have to come back. So that's convenience for you as well. She's got 10-minute root canals that are pain-free, 15-minute implants, again, pain-free. She has a $19 a month dental plan, which is just like an insurance plan. So a lot of people have cut back on dentistry insurance programs and coverage. And so if you need to fill in some blanks, she's got it for you at $19 a month. They're at dentistrywithtlc.com. It's dentistrywithtlc.com.
You have to decide, am I willing to get in right now? Is the world over? Is the good world over? Is it going to crash?
Miss your chance to ask Del a question during the show? You can connect with Del off the air, too. Go to DelOnTheRadio.com, click on the Twitter link, and ask your question. Hashtag AskDel.
I believe that a good teacher has the skill set to be able to bring people through multiple levels of learning that are completely different from one another.
Have a comment for Del instead? Use hashtag TellDel.
KXFN St. Louis, K287BY St. Louis. America's first news with Matt Ray gets you up to speed. Mornings from 4 to 6, right before Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Maxine Waters is ordering up her cast of flying monkeys again up there in D.C. by now going after Trump supporters, which is kind of what she does and what people do. I guarantee you, President Trump goes after Jim Acosta, and apparently he's ruining the First Amendment and putting targets on the back of the media. But Maxine Waters can disparage an entire group of millions of Americans and even incite violence against them. And it's just another day in the life of Maxine Waters. We'll follow up on that. Also, Tulsi Gabbard, who is a very interesting Democrat, seemingly reasonable. She doesn't want Trump impeached. She says, you know, what you ought to do is just not elect him in 2020. I get it. But there's a reasonable Democrat who actually is frightening to a certain level because she's that reasonable. You don't find too many of those all around us. So we'll follow up on that, too. And your phone calls 844-855-1380.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Sri Lanka's government says it has identified the group behind the Easter Sunday massacre and the suicide bombings targeting churches and hotels. It killed 290 people and wounded hundreds more.
It's identified the group as National Tawfiq Jamaat, which it says is a homegrown group that it suspects has foreign ties and they say all of these suicide bombers were Sri Lankan nationals.
Correspondent Emily Schmall in Colombo. 7 suicide bombers involved in the attacks on 3 churches and 3 hotels. More than 35 foreign nationals, including some Americans, are among the dead. In the wake of the bombings, Sri Lanka's president has now granted the military sweeping wartime powers to detain and arrest suspects. Impeachment. President Trump advising Democrats, don't try it.
As congressional Democrats consider their next steps following the Mueller report, the president is putting them on notice. He tweets, "How do you impeach a Republican president for a crime that was committed by the Democrats?" Mr. Trump claims that he's been fully cleared by the special counsel and that Democrat-led investigations in Congress would waste time, hurt the country, and prove politically costly for Democrats in 2020. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Secretary of State Pompeo made the announcement just a few minutes ago. The Trump administration now ending exemptions from U.S. sanctions for countries that import Iranian oil. The White House says it's taking timely action to assure that global demand is met as all Iranian oil is removed from the market. The decision means that sanctions waivers for 5 nations, including China and India, and a U.S. treaty allies Japan, South Korea, and Turkey, will not be renewed when they expire May 2nd. Wall Street, Dow futures down 102 points. S&P futures off 11. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
It's looking a little bit more like a rush hour out there. Reports of an accident still Jefferson and Shenandoah. Northbound 270, that has gotten heavier. Gravois to Manchester, the backup. 44 eastbound Elm to Laclede Station Road slowing. 64 westbound 15th Street to 55, just a slight delay there. 6440 eastbound McKnight to Big Bend backed up. Westbound it's Hampton to Laclede Station Road. And starting at 9 a.m. and running until the middle of May, the exit from eastbound 6440 to 14th Street will be closed with roadwork. Traffic is sponsored by eBay. You know when you're shopping and you find that absolutely perfect thing, that feeling you get, and then you see the price and you're like, wait, it's how much? And then you get sad and eat a donut. But did you check eBay? eBay has that thing you want for the price you want. I'm Bonnie Green with your St. Louis Metro traffic on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
1380 The Answer. Weather.
We'll have partly sunny skies today. It will be very warm with a high of 84. Partly cloudy and mild tonight with a low of 60. Tuesday, mostly cloudy skies. It'll be cooler with a shower or thunderstorm around. Tuesday's high 70. Mostly cloudy skies Wednesday with a brief shower or 2. Wednesday's high 70. Cloudy skies expected for Thursday with spotty showers and a high of 71. I'm Drew Shannon with your St. Louis Metro forecast on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Refiners planning major plant overhauls. American cabinet makers getting relief from unfair Chinese competition. Those stories next.
It's so nice now that the kids are asleep.
Cheers.
We got the kids, our house, a stable income.
Checking off all the boxes.
But there's one box we haven't checked off.
Well, what's that?
Life insurance.
We don't need to think about that now. We're young.
That's why now is the best time. Life insurance gets more expensive the older you get.
But I don't have time to do a blood test. It's such a hassle to meet with someone just to get a quote.
Not with Ethos.
Ethos?
It's a modern kind of life insurance. You just answer 4 quick questions at getethos.com and get a free instant quote. No pushy salespeople. And no medical exams required for policies covering under $1 million. You can apply online in just 10 minutes.
10 minutes? Let's do it.
But then what will we do for the rest of the night?
I'm sure we can think of something.
Get your free instant quote and submit your complete application in minutes. Just go to getethos.com. That's ETHOS. Getethos.com. Getethos.com.
Wall Street gets back to work today following the 3-day Easter weekend. American oil refiners are planning a heavy round of plant overhauls this quarter. Total oil production in April has been about 9% lower. Refineries say the plant upgrades will be more widespread than normally to avoid shutdowns this fall and winter. Even as the United States and China continue to pursue a settlement of trade differences, the International Trade Commission says it's determined imports of wooden cabinets from China are harming American cabinet producers, ruling that the Chinese exporters are dumping their goods. The ruling could lead to tariffs on the Chinese products if it turns out the cabinets are subsidized by the Chinese government. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 o'clock and 10 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Call the 1380 The Answer listener line and tell us what you think.
Thank you for bringing Jamie Allman back. I quit listening to 97.1 the minute they fired him. I appreciate the courage to hire him. He's common sense. He stands for the truth. It's pretty simple, and that's what people really want to hear. And there's more of us out here than people realize. Thank you, and I will be listening every single day.
The 1380 Answer listener line. Call 844-825-1380. It's your turn to speak up.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare contracts, and in the process started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. Sound crazy? The crazy thing is, this never ends. Even when you die, your family's now going to be stuck with this burden. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. I guarantee if we can't cancel your timeshare contract, you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. 800-290-7100. That's 800-290-7100. 800-290-7100.
Common Sense Radio with Allman in the morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Give me land, lots of land, and the starry skies above. Don't fence me in. Let me ride through the wide open country that I love. Don't fence me in. Let me be by myself in the evening breeze. Listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Send me off forever, but I ask you please. Don't fence me in. Don't fence me in. Just turn me loose. Let me straddle my own saddle underneath the western
Here's another example. Then I'll get off the media's backs about how just miserably equipped they are to cover religious things, well, specifically Christian things, because they're just so mystified by everything that when they have to cover something that relates to a church or whatever, they oftentimes they don't even know what they're talking about. So I want to let you know. So this firefighter is being interviewed, and so is a priest, about their efforts to save the things from the burning, from the burning Notre Dame Cathedral. And the New York Times reporter actually speaks fluent French. He even tweets in French. So this isn't a translation issue with her, but now this is
Maintenant, je suis appelé et tout de suite en arrivant, deux choses me semblent essentielles à accomplir.
So this is all like in French, obviously, and so you don't. But what he is saying is that they were rushing at two priorities. This is how the New York Times quoted this firefighter chaplain. Elaine Peltier is the one who wrote the article. She says, she quotes him as saying, "I had two priorities: to save the crown of thorns and a statue of Jesus." So they go on in great detail about the scramble to remove this statue of Jesus. But what actually he said in French, so and the reporter speaks French. What he said in French was that they wanted to save the crown of thorns and the body of Christ. And so the New York Times and this reporter, even though she speaks French, thought the body of Christ meant a statue. It wasn't. It was the consecrated host, the actual body of Christ in the Catholic Church, at least. And so the New York Times had to come back and do a correction. And they said an earlier version of this article misidentified one of two objects. I mean, they had a 50-50 chance of getting this baby right here. or wrong for that matter. So they misidentified one of two. Sorry, because an earlier version of this article misidentified one of the two objects recovered from Notre Dame by the firefighting chaplain. It was the Blessed Sacrament, not a statue of Jesus. So even when it was being translated from French by a person who speaks French, she still thought when the guy said the body of Christ that she thought it was a statue. and not the Blessed Sacrament, the consecrated host. That's how messy it gets when these people are just trying to basically. I mean, I'll tell you one thing. It's funny how they can't even get that right. But Nick Kristof of the New York Times apparently knows everything there is to know about the virgin birth. Applying science to it. I love how these people who are always so pro-science, it still always confounds me because they say that you're anti-science if you don't believe in global warming or man-made global warming, or you're anti-science if you believe in these crazy, bizarre fantasies like the virgin birth or whatever. But they can hear a heartbeat inside of a woman and still say that's not a life. That's always amazing to me. Like that's a heartbeat. That's a baby. No, it's not a baby. It's a fetus. It's like, what? It's a mass of cells. I'm like, okay, whatever. Why do you say that? So we can kill it. That's usually why. I'm not laughing about abortion, but you know what I'm saying. It's just so funny how the crowd is always the big pro science. We're analytical here. We analyze things on the basis of scientific fact. You stupid Trump supporters and Christianists out there know nothing about science. Like, what about that baby's heartbeat in the womb? Well, that's not a baby. It's like, oh, stop calling it a baby. It's a choice. I'm like, okay, Bill Nye the Science Guy. Oh, life is funny until it gets messy and somebody loses an eye. I'm just telling you. Maxine Waters. So it's so funny how if you're remotely, remember, like if somebody dared criticize an Obama supporter or whatever else, you were inciting people, you were turning the Americans against each other. You're being divisive, right? Isn't that what they call us, divisive? Because you didn't vote for Hillary? You're divisive. Why? Because I divided my vote away from your girl? Yeah, kinda. But it's okay for Maxine Waters to again go on television and incite hate against Trump supporters. Now, of course, most of us aren't worried. I mean, I'm honestly the way I go about my business. You come up to my table and touch my food, you're getting a fist in your face. You start yelling at me, I'm basically going to pull your neck out. So I don't really, none of that kind of stuff really bothers me, because if I'm with my kids or something else, you're doubly in jeopardy. But nonetheless, some other people just minding their own business might not know what hits them. And we see it all the time. We've seen it, people who go, I'm going to go to a Trump rally. No one in their wildest dreams would ever imagine that it could possibly be physically imperiling to go to a political rally in the United States. But that's what happens. Nobody would ever believe in a million years that we could live in a country where people like Maxine Waters and others could actually order up attacks on anybody employed by Donald Trump. You remember those days, right? When it doesn't matter whether it's Sarah Sanders or whether it is the education secretary. Shame on you! Those people yell. The same guy always seemingly is in that crowd. You should be so proud of yourselves. So it's like it's that Ted Cruz, anybody who actually works or supports President Trump, they were all at one point there over a period of like a couple of months attacked in restaurants and in public. And then, of course, you have the lower level situations where you have just some boy going to a mall wearing a Make America Great Again hat and having it ripped off of his head by some screaming minority. And you get that going for you. But I guarantee you, had there been a hit ordered out by any Republican politician on employees of Barack Obama, can you imagine the kind of, I mean, we'd see old film of lynchings all over the news if that were the case. If anybody dared in any way, shape, or form, and who would? I mean, what level of person would be decent, of any decency, would ever do something like that? But that's just kind of that's just another day in the life of Maxine Waters, who's on with Joy Reid, who hates gays and white people. So she's got a growing list and Trump supporters now, apparently.
Congresswoman Maxine Waters, chair of the House Financial Services Committee. Happy Easter, Congresswoman, and thank you for...
Can you imagine that she's Maxine Waters, dumb as a friggin' bag of hair, is chairman of the Finance Committee? I don't even know whether this woman can count. I mean, she sounds like she can't. I'm just telling you. She sounds dumb as a stump. Yeah. Oh, and it's funny. If you call by the way, I should. Do you guys have your notebooks out? Take your notebooks out. You cannot call a blathering black woman dumb. Otherwise, you're racist, just so you know. Hey, to insinuate somehow that it's like when Donald Trump questioned Maxine Waters' IQ, he was called a racist. Because apparently, if you're black, you can't be stupid. Or at least called out for being dumb. I mean, there are dumb white people and dumb black people. But apparently you can only call the white people dumb. You can't call the black ones dumb, or you're racist. Anyway, she's dumb.
Thank you. Delighted to be here.
Thank you. All right, let's talk about this, because you really were there first in terms of calling for impeachment. Congressman Al Green.
Yeah, she was there, and Al Green. There's another one. What a group. Golly. They're like the dumbest people are fronting this operation here. Al Green.
Also, very early on.
Is he the guy that thought Puerto Rico was going to sink? No, that was another guy. That's another guy who's apparently high up there in the Congressional Black Caucus. I believe that the Puerto Rico might sink into the ocean, flip over. It's like, really? You think? And he had his glasses. Who is that guy, man? Look him up, will you, Phil? That guy with glasses perched on his and sitting at that hearing. Let me tell you something, sir. You think the Puerto Rico will flip over and turn over in the ocean? Oh, Lord.
Like to put on the floor articles of impeachment, but it's been slow in getting the leadership to come on board. After the Mueller report, do you believe that Democrats need to do additional hearings or some other interim step?
What do you think the answer to that question is going to be? As Tweedledum and Tweedledummer converse here on Easter Sunday on MSNBC. What do you think the answer? Do you think there should be more hearings? She asked the chairman of a committee.
Proceeding to an impeachment hearing.
Well, Joy, let me just say and repeat that I have been calling for his impeachment for a long time because I understood very clearly who this man is, how he conducted himself during his campaign, and the kind of information we learned about him even before Mueller came on board. We've been waiting for Mueller to, make us comfortable with the fact that he is deplorable and he's not deserving of the presidency, and to find all of the evidence.
He can't even use an original word. She's got to borrow it from the white lady. And what's funny is that I'll tell you one thing. All weekend long, I was around people who are liberal and who likely vote Democrat. They wouldn't in a million years take ownership of a Maxine Waters. So I'm just saying that if you all have any plans at all for the future politically, you gotta dump these people like Maxine Waters and all the other kooks out there, because Americans just are not, even liberal Americans don't. I'm cutting them some slack because I happen to know them and love them. But they wouldn't claim a Maxine Waters if they were drowning and she was the only flotation device. So these people can knock themselves out. I say keep on going with all this stuff because this is only helping. Oh, yeah. Hank Johnson.
It was Guam.
Oh, Guam. I believe it will capsize. I'll have the sound for you on the other end of this line. This is your gallery of heroes there in Congress. Maxine Waters, Hank Johnson, and Al Green. Oh, what an embarrassment. I mean, I even think like most black people are like, I don't even know who Hank Johnson is. They probably don't. Your phone calls are welcome. Call Tammy.com. Real estate listener line is 844-855-1380. It's Common Sense Radio.
More Allman in the Morning coming up on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer. Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Well, we're accident-free at this hour, but we are not delay-free. We've got a couple of those, or a handful. 270 northbound Gravois to Manchester does have a good-sized backup. 6440 eastbound, Clayton Warson to Big Ben's heavy. Westbound, it's Hampton to Laclede Station Road slowing too. 170 southbound, slight delays there. Brentwood Boulevard to 6440. Now, the flood warning remains until Sunday morning at 7 a.m., so that's still a big concern. Traffic is sponsored by Express Services, Inc. You work hard. You know what it takes to succeed. Now it's time to put your experience to work and launch your business. For a limited time, Express Employment Professionals will give you $25,000 to open your franchise. Get to know Express. Visit expressfranchising.com today. I'm Bonnie Green with your St. Louis Metro traffic on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Bonnie, I'm hoping you can forgive me for that. For Hank Johnson interrupting your stellar traffic report. I don't know. I was queuing up and it just came bled over. But Hank should not have interrupted you that way. And on behalf of the Congressional Black Caucus, I apologize. Ladies and gentlemen, Proctor spelled like doctor, ProctorDrapery.com. Let me tell you something about Michael Proctor. Love this guy. Love his energy. Love his passion. Love his expertise. He is the man when it comes to giving you great ideas for your home window treatments. Maybe, since spring is sprung and finally we have some sunshine and some warmth, everything else out there, there's a strong possibility you're kind of like, wow, you know what? I'm going to redo this sunroom, or I need to breathe some new life into this house in terms of how it looks to me and even to the outside. And Michael can come in and say, you know what? I got just the answer for you. I think you need Norman shutters right over here. Or I think you need the Roman shades, or I think you need these nice, beautiful side panels here. I mean, he has the eye of the interior designer. Most places, most of the high-end window places, and Michael Proctor is a high-end window guy. He competes with them. Most of them charge you extra for having a interior designer on your side. And so they'll refer you to one. They go through that rigmarole. That person comes in, and you're always in the middleman. Michael is the interior designer. So he's got his mobile design unit, comes right up to your doorstep, and he's there for 7 days a week if you need him. He's there on Sundays even. He'll come to your house. He'll help you decide, or maybe you already have an idea because you've been thumbing through Southern Living or something and say, hey, you know what? He can get it for you. All the variety, the great pricing, expert installation from Michael Proctor. Proctor spelled like doctor, ProctorDrapery.com.
Results may vary, not a solicitation for legal services. If you owe the IRS back taxes, payroll taxes, or have not filed your returns, the IRS will get you. They can take your property, take you to court, even put you in jail. One call to Wall & Associates, and your tax problems are solved. Wall has saved clients over $150 million in the last 5 years. Our average client settles for about 10% of what is owed. With one call to Wall, you'll never need to talk to the IRS again. We offer free face-to-face consultations in your local area. Remember, Wall has a proven track record with a total client savings over $150 million. Call now for your free face-to-face consultation.
800-660-2294. That's 800-660-2294. 800-660-2294.
Greetings, St. Louis. This is Matthew Mitchell of the Matthew Mitchell Allstate Agency. Excited to welcome Jamie Allman back to St. Louis Radio. As a longtime supporter and sponsor of Allman in the Morning, my goal as his trusted advisor is to make sure that you are in good hands. With over 70 years of combined staff experience, my team of agents and I know how to make sure that you get the best value for the money you spend on your insurance. Is your insurance company currently hiding behind a website, out of town, or just a call center with no accountability to you or our community? Would you like to speak to the same person every time you call? Is there a new roof on your home? Do you have a teenage driver in your family? Has your credit score improved greatly over the last few years? You can email me at matthewmitchell@allstate.com, or you can call my agents at 855-QUOTE-ME. Folks, there is safety in numbers. Put the power of Allstate to work for you as America's largest and strongest insurance company. This is Matthew Mitchell of the Matthew Mitchell Allstate Agency. Again, the number to call is 855-QUOTE-ME.
Hey, don't just listen to Allman in the Morning. See the show at theanswerstl.com. Now, more Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Coming up, 8:35, Jimmy Hoff, the Gateway Pundit, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Good morning this morning. Finally, we get some air in here. Woo. I thought it was just me. So Uber is instituting new guidelines in the wake of that woman who accidentally got into the wrong Uber. I don't know what else more they could do. I mean, how do you get into the wrong? Well, I'm not blaming the victim here, but you know what? I mean, sometimes there's a reason why this doesn't happen a whole lot. You want to hear the genius Hank Johnson? Since I interrupted traffic just to bring, just to cue it up. Let's go back to I think he's still around. These are the kind. I mean, really. I mean, I know this is old, but it's a gem. That's for sure.
Island that at its widest level is 12 miles from shore to shore, and at its smallest level or smallest location, it's 7 miles between one shore and the other.
This is a hearing, by the way.
I don't have the exact dimensions, but to your point, sir, I think Guam
he's talking to an admiral.
Small island.
Very small island, and about 24 miles, if I recall, long. So 24 miles long, about 7 miles wide at the least widest place on the island, and about 12 miles wide on the widest part of the island. And I don't know how many square miles that is. Do you happen to know?
I don't have that
Ask
figure
Maxine.
with me, sir. I can certainly supply it to you if you'd like.
Yeah, my fear is that the whole island will become so overly populated that it will tip over and capsize.
The admiral's like,
we don't anticipate that.
oh, ladies and gentlemen, the gallery of geniuses there in Congress, and they want to impeach Trump. Huh?
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. Sri Lanka's government says it has identified the group behind the Easter Sunday massacre, the suicide bombings targeting churches and hotels that killed 290 people and wounded hundreds more. Sri Lankan officials say that the group is a domestic terror group that was involved in the attacks. President Trump advising Democrats, don't try impeachment. The president tweets, how do you impeach a Republican president for a crime that was committed by the Democrats? The Trump administration is ending exemptions from U.S. sanctions for countries that import Iranian oil. The White House says it's taking timely action to assure that global demand is met as all Iranian oil is removed from the market. On Wall Street right now, stocks opening mixed. The Dow is up 24 points, the S&P down 7. More details at srnnews.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Looks like the meat of our rush hour pretty much over. We do have a slight delay on 270 northbound, Big Bend to Manchester, but that's coming down. And 6440 eastbound, heavy still Clayton Warson to Big Bend. 170 southbound, slight delays there, Brentwood Boulevard to 6440. Midday road work today, 9 to 4:30 in the right lane on westbound 64 on the Poplar Street Bridge. And also starting at 9 a.m., but going until March 15th, the exit from eastbound 6440 to 14th Street will close. Traffic is sponsored by Express Services, Inc. You work hard, you know what it takes to succeed. Now it's time to put your experience to work and launch your business. For a limited time, Express Employment Professionals will give you $25,000 to open your franchise. Get to know Express. Visit expressfranchising.com today. I'm Bonnie Green with your St. Louis Metro traffic on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
1380 The Answer. Weather.
We'll have partly sunny skies today. It will be very warm with a high of 84. Partly cloudy and mild tonight with a low of 60. Tuesday, mostly cloudy skies. It'll be cooler with a shower or thunderstorm around. Tuesday's high 70. Mostly cloudy skies Wednesday with a brief shower or two. Wednesday's high 70. Cloudy skies expected for Thursday with spotty showers and a high of 71. I'm Drew Shannon with your St. Louis Metro forecast on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Dennis Prager can always explain the left.
They accuse their foes of a Manichaean worldview of right and wrong, good and evil, black and white. It is so utterly false. Every leftist is a child. Not every liberal, every leftist. And children do not deal well with the ambiguities of life.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekday mornings at 11 on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer. Breaking news. Stimulating talk.
This is a message to business owners. The strongest selling proposition is to get your customer into your store in front of your product. Now you can do that digitally, everywhere, with Salem Surround. Digital marketing that easily takes your business beyond its four walls, putting your message on people's computers, tablets, and mobile phones everywhere. Your digital ad virtually puts them into your store in front of your products. Salem Surround takes the mystery of digital marketing off your shoulders, letting you run your business while we deliver customers. Call us at Salem Surround for a free analysis of your digital marketing effectiveness and suggested ideas that could dramatically increase your sales. There are no limitations on where you can reach customers. Salem Surround, total market penetration for increased ROI. Learn more by logging on to surroundstl.com. Surroundstl.com, connecting you with new customers.
Dennis Prager, this morning at 11. Now, more Common Sense Radio with Allman in the morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
What's up, everybody? Good morning this morning. Yes.
Katie tried. I was halfway crucified. I was on the other side of no tomorrow.
Beautiful day out there. Happy Easter Monday, everybody, and welcome to the show. Oh, man, there's no sometimes greater gift than just popping up on gatewaypundit.com and seeing just a list of stories that not even many conservative sites are even onto yet. They will be. But, man, is this, it's just a It's a treasure trove of great information. I could sit here and talk to you all morning long about it. And you know what? Just so happens I'm going to try to talk to part of the morning about it because Jimmy Hoff's with me right now, and he just happens to be the Gateway pundit. Hey, Jimmy, how you doing?
Great, Jerry. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter to you, too. And listen, I've been on this all morning long. I love how these individuals are in Sri Lanka referred to as these homegrown terrorists, as if they have no linkage at all to any greater movement in the world. And I think, I don't know whether the news media consciously states that or unconsciously, but obviously the insinuation somehow is that, no, it's just a homegrown terror group. It's like kind of like the whole myth of the lone wolf. When it comes to Islamic terror, there really never is a lone wolf, and there might be some technically homegrown, but they're all linked. You have a piece up showing that there's a guy on video. He's on YouTube all over the place. One of the Islamic men behind this imam behind the Sri Lanka attacks has videos on YouTube all over the joint. But I'll tell you one thing: you put Jimmy Hoff on a YouTube video. They'll be monitoring that, maybe even pull it off. Unbelievable.
Right, that's absolutely true. In fact, one of my friends, a mutual friend of ours, Andrew Marcus, he put up a video after the shooting in New Zealand where this killer was driving in his car talking. Absolutely nothing violent or anything about this. Well, and the guy was crazy. We know that, and we know that he was a racist and everything else. And we know what he did was a horrible thing. But this video shows nothing, and YouTube just took it down and suspended his account for, put it on suspension for a while. It's just insane what's going on, and yet here we have this mastermind behind these attacks in Sri Lanka. He's a very prominent imam there. He has videos all over YouTube, and he was involved in these attacks yesterday, and yet he still 24 hours later has all of these videos out there, and he's known for preaching hatred and Islamic superiority and all of this. And so we just see this weird double standard in the West from our tech giants. But this guy was known to several people because he had a big following on YouTube. And if you go and if you look at some of his videos, I'll try to pull up a couple right now. If you look at his videos, he has significant support. One of his videos has let me see here.
Yeah, I'm looking at the one you have up here.
Views, all of these things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable, and this is the thing I've been trying to tell people this morning, Jimmy, is that because Mark Casey was, well, what are we going to do about it? It's like, let me tell you something though. If there were anybody else other than Christians who were being incinerated and killed, this would be a world crisis. But what happens is this Sri Lankan thing is just another few hundred people sacrificed to the Islamic Jihad, and it's just like, oh, ho hum, nothing to see here. But I guarantee you, like I'm telling people, we bend over backwards to accommodate these people, even as hateful as their messages, because they hide behind this so-called religion of peace. And they're on YouTube everywhere. But I'll tell you, conservatives are getting banned all across the country on YouTube. And yet YouTube's so afraid of being called Islamophobic or racist or whatever that they just let these people do whatever they want to do.
It's really stunning. And after a couple of years of this, we really see who the tech giants, who they believe the enemies are. And the enemies are the conservatives with conservative voices and who are pro-Trump. And we've seen that all over the place. My experience, we certainly have been banned and blocked and blacklisted and censored from all of these tech giant sites. And the good news is our traffic continues to grow at Gateway Pundit despite all of this. Nobody would believe the amount of censorship that we see each day. You've gone through this personally in your life. So it's really just amazing what's going on out there. And then the true enemies of civilization, it seems like sometimes they get a pass. So, it's a bit confusing.
Yeah, no doubt, and it's just as it's not only that, but it's infuriating. The measures that, like even this morning, right out of the blocks, I don't know about you, but when I hear homegrown terrorist cell, I hear somebody trying to detach them from the greater violence of radical Islam and act like it's just some isolated incident. But they don't do that for Christians. If you have some like this guy in New Zealand who shot everybody up in a mosque, suddenly Donald Trump and every other conservative has to explain his actions somehow. But these folks remain unaccountable, and that's what we see is just a regular sacrifice to the Muslim gods every Christian holiday and beyond. It's infuriating, the double standard. I'm glad you pointed that out. Here's another thing on the Gateway Pundit that I think you're getting to the reason why there's so much panicking going on in the wake of the Mueller report among the Clappers and the Brennans and the others to hold hearings and do this kind of stuff is because they know President Trump has the key to the file cabinets. And you have a report at the top of the Gateway Pundit this morning that President Trump is preparing to declassify these FISA docs, correct?
Absolutely. And he promised this months ago, but he held back. His advisors must have told him to hold back. But I'm telling you, I know you like me. I can't wait for this stuff to just start, seeing the light of day because it's way past time. And I think the American people need to see what was behind all of this. It's sickening what they've done to this president and what they've done to this country. It's also sickening to see how politicized some of these groups have become, like the CIA and FBI. Jamie, I was probably like you growing up thinking, FBI is the coolest guys ever and they're just honest guys. And now I see what's happened to Donald Trump, and I don't know if I'll ever feel the same about our intel departments because of just this crookedness they did against Trump. And we just put up another post right before I got on the air. In March, John Brennan was accused by Rand Paul of sticking this junk dossier that's just complete rubbish. It's like two guys in a bar wrote it. And he stuck that in some intel report. And now yesterday, Bob Woodward came out and agreed and said, yeah, this happened. So John Brennan, no wonder he's been shooting his mouth off because it looks like his fingerprints are all over this thing.
They're scared to death, and they should be. And I'm telling you, I've been wanting this Nuremberg-style trial to go on. I want them all in that box. And I want to. It doesn't matter whether it's Obama or whether it's Brennan, Clapper, all those guys. You know what's interesting too, Jimmy, about this is that the Mueller report itself shows how ineffective and incompetent the intelligence community is. Because if you look at the Mueller report and how many different ways that the Russians tried to infiltrate our elections, and not one time were we ever publicly notified this was going on. So either half of these incidents were just a bunch of people who were set up by the FBI and were actually just American citizens posing as Russians or whatever, or the intelligence community once again missed all of this because the Mueller report outlines all kinds of events that were never picked up upon by Obama's people or the intelligence community. That's kind of an untold story here that it actually is indicting of the powers that be who were supposed to actually be monitoring this stuff. But what they were trying to do never even raised a red flag among these guys.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I think a good point, too, to point out is that the left, we see they always are saying how much Russia influenced Facebook with all these ads, and I don't think it's repeated enough that they invested about as much from what I've read. They've invested as much as what I did during the election.
Right.
They didn't invest a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
And yet we have a lot of people who don't understand Facebook, don't understand social media, and think that this was just some huge amount that flipped the election. It was just a drop in the bucket what the Russians invested from the reports I've seen. So, again, a lot of people don't understand how the internet works, don't understand how Facebook or social media work, and then they repeat this nonsense that's put out there by the left, and it's unfortunate because people start believing they're just crap that they've been throwing at the American public. It's just awful. And thank God the American media today is looking like the fools that they are and liars, because they were so deceitful for the past 2 years. It's disgusting.
Yeah. And what's interesting, too, is that you have a bunch of people who were reporting all that on this kind of stuff and never even bothering to challenge any of the predisposed things that were running out there that look indicting as it is. Again, all the Russian meddling, all that kind of stuff. And also, there's no indication at all that the Russians were meddling any more in this election than they did in the 2008 election or the 2012 election. There's no discussion about how this is actually pretty run-of-the-mill, typical Russian attempts to get involved in elections. They've always done this. This is not even in fact, the only reason there's more examples of it is because half the guys were set up by the intelligence community to try to sting President Trump and his campaign.
Right. It looks that way.
Yeah.
It looks like we're getting some answers anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And I can tell you one thing. I love it. And all I'm waiting for now is somehow some action to be taken that keeps the declassification from happening, so they can either say, well, this is under investigation, or we're going to seize on these records and they're going to be locked up, because these guys are trying everything. The one thing I still want to know is why Karl Rove, the day after it was made clear that President Trump was basically exonerated, why it was that Karl Rove wrote an op-ed piece in the Wall Street Journal begging the president just to leave everything alone and move on. That's going to be interesting to me, because there's nothing. I can't understand why Rove was doing that other than to protect some of these deep state guys, because to me, it's not just a Democrat thing. There are Republicans involved in this as well. So it's pretty.
I think you're right.
Crazy. Also, I love how you call the guy. I love how you call this guy Governor Blackface in Virginia. And so you've got a story about this guy, and this is such projection. It's funny. So what's the latest on Governor Blackface?
Well, we know this Governor Northam. He appeared back in his college days in his yearbook in blackface or with a KKK outfit standing next to him. Maybe he was in the KKK outfit. It's not really clear yet.
Yeah.
We know that he was. The students were the ones who put these pictures on their page, but he's still the governor there. Could you imagine some Republican doing something like that and being in office?
Oh yeah,
they would have been gone in 2 minutes.
Unbelievable.
This guy. So now he's going to fight this Confederate arson. He wants it removed from Fort Monroe in Virginia. So it's on national land. It's not even a state monument. So here we go. This guy's trying to redeem himself.
Yeah, he's going after a arch honoring the former president of the Confederacy at Fort Monroe. Unbelievable. I mean, that just is, and by the way, now that you mention it, though, regarding the Klan outfit, it's interesting how it hasn't even actually been broached, the possibility that actually Governor Blackface Ralph Northam, as you call him, was actually in the Klan outfit. Because
right.
At that point, and what's curious is I wouldn't imagine there'd be too many people who would step forward and go, "Yep, that was me in the Klan outfit, not him." I'm sure there probably aren't too many people who are gonna, come out and hold a news conference declaring themselves to be the one in a Klan outfit. But this was not a large society here at this university. This was not a thing where you wouldn't know who these people were. Somebody was at that party and they know exactly who these people are.
Sure, absolutely. They're keeping quiet to save their buddy,
Yeah.
to save his face.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah. So also you have up on your website, and I think this is very interesting, you actually feature a video from a left-wing comedian. I've never heard of the guy, Jimmy Dore. But
right.
What is this? Because you say this is pretty amazing coming from a left-wing guy.
It really is. So this Jimmy Dore is somehow connected to Young Turks.
Oh, yeah,
and
okay.
Young Turks was given a YouTube channel. They're far left as can be. And he's doing this stand-up routine. And there's some other comedians there, it looks like. But what he's doing is he's going through the start of the Russia collusion. And what he says is that the Democrats knew, and Hillary and Podesta knew, that this Uranium One scandal was very damaging to Hillary from their polling. Of course, they poll everything. And they saw that Hillary was in trouble because most Americans were turned off about that. So what they did then was typical Democrat politics. They projected something on Trump, and that was their decision. There's actually, he shows a couple screenshots of a couple emails at the time where Podesta then, of course, is behind this, projecting something on Trump. But this was like the beginning of what appears to be, according to this Jimmy Dore, what appears to be the Russia collusion, scandal. So it's really an amazing video, and this guy put it together. I have not seen those documents before, but he has them right up on the screen there when he's talking. So, and of course, Jamie, you know this, it makes perfect sense, that they would project this on Trump. Trump, who has no contacts and no interest in business in Russia except for a couple little fluke things, and no contracts were ever signed. So, this is how the Democrats operate, and John Podesta was right behind it.
That's interesting. So you write here that John Podesta then absolutely devised the collusion lie to project onto Donald Trump that actually he was the one colluding with Russia and not Hillary. And so that's really interesting. So what my question, though, is now, so we have Joe Biden, who's going to be announcing in Charlottesville. This is going to be a you-know-what show down there. Charlottesville, really? I mean, if he manages to keep his teeth in his mouth, I'm sure his utterances will be all about what a racist we all are for supporting President Trump. This is going to be a debacle. And you know what's sad is that you know what? I actually think Joe Biden's a better person than this. And yet he's needing to pull himself down into the left-wing garbage pail and doing this from Charlottesville. And I'm no fan of his policies or of him for that matter, but I have to tell you, this is actually surprising for a Joe Biden to be pulling this kind of stunt down there. Anyway, he has some Russia issues too, right? I mean, because really Hillary selling off 1/5 of the U.S. uranium to the Russians, she didn't do that by herself. And Joe Biden apparently,
a lot of people involved.
Yeah, and so hopefully this stuff is going to come out. These guys really had a major swing and a miss on this thing with the Mueller report, and so they're all diving for cover. I noticed that the whole issue now has moved on from collusion to obstruction now. Even though obviously the president, in my opinion, didn't do anything of the sort. He was reacting the way Barr described him, as a man who just worked his tail off to win an election and suddenly saw a deep state trying to A, remove him, and B, act as if he didn't do it on his own or do it with people. With his supporters. So you can imagine what kind of holy terror he had to be in that White House, knowing these people were trying to actually bring him down wrongly. It must have been unbelievable. So, and then they're claiming that, well, without this advisor, he would. Well, that's what advisors are for. I mean, you have McGahn and these guys. That's what you have advisors for. You do things, and they'll keep you out of legal jeopardy and all that kind of stuff. That doesn't mean it was obstruction. That doesn't mean that even words are obstruction. So anyway, but thanks a ton for what you do, man. This Gateway Pundit.
Or tweets.
Yeah.
Or tweets.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Well, Jimmy, thanks again. Appreciate what you're doing. And the gatewaypundit.com is a must go to, folks. This is all stuff that even some of the best conservative sites aren't even on this yet. So congrats, as always. I know you had a busy weekend. Happy Easter to you. But, boy, you didn't waste a lot of time hunting Easter eggs, looks like. Looks like you were doing some good work, brother. So appreciate you as always, Jimmy.
Thanks a lot, Jamie.
All right, man. Happy Monday to you, and have a good rest of your week. Your phone calls are calltammy.com. Real estate listener line is 844-855-1380, 844-855-1380. It's Common Sense Radio.
More Allman in the Morning coming up on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer. Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Not a whole lot left of this Monday morning rush hour. We do only have a couple of tight spots. 270 northbound does still slow Big Bend to Manchester. And 6440 eastbound, a stubborn delay there between Clayton Warson to Big Bend. 170 southbound, some brake lights, Brentwood Boulevard to 6440. That flood warning still in effect until Sunday at 7 a.m. So big problem still with flooding. And midday road work today, 9 to 4:30 in the right lane on westbound 64 on the Poplar Street Bridge. Traffic is sponsored by eBay. You know when you're shopping and you find that absolutely perfect thing, that feeling you get, and then you see the price and you're like, wait, it's how much? And then you get sad and eat a donut. But did you check eBay? eBay has that thing you want for the price you want. I'm Bonnie Green with your St. Louis Metro traffic on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Oh, yes, everybody. I am so loving the guys at ThrottleNet. I was just the other day passing through Sunset Hills and saw their beautiful office there and knew that what was going on inside was absolute great protection of all you small business people out there who need to have, A, a backup of your system, and B, you need to be protected from people who are trying to go after information that actually could ruin your business. And that information is, well, the phone numbers and personal information of your clients and your people. There have been situations where people have had their IT service ransacked, and believe me, medical, whatever else, anything sensitive, people aren't going back. These businesses have closed down because they have absolutely been raided by hackers. The ThrottleNet guys are the so-called white hats. You have the black hats who are the ones who are hacking, and then you have the white hats who know just as much as the black hats, but they use their knowledge for good, and that's what ThrottleNet is going to do for you. If you have a system backed up the way ThrottleNet backs it up, these guys who come in with ransomware, everything else, they don't have any leg up on you at all. You just say, pound sand, I've already got it back up, boom, you're back in action. Also, anytime you're hacked and you have a interruption in your service, there have been people who have sized it up thusly where 1 minute can cost a business $5,000 if their internet or IT service is not working properly. They also have the 24/7 helpline, which if you have any problems at all, you call them and they'll either be at your doorstep or remotely fix your problem right off the bat. ThrottleNet.com, that's ThrottleNet.com.
KXFN, St. Louis, K287BY, St. Louis.
We know you're out there hiding in plain sight, living a life of quiet desperation, wondering if you're going to beat your money to the grave. There's a better way, a better life at Lifestyles Unlimited. It's time to live the life you deserve. You can only do that by creating passive income. Let us show you how. It's just 2 hours. It can't be worse than another meeting about meetings or another mindless night in front of the TV. Go to lifestylesunlimitedworkshop.com. That's lifestylesunlimitedworkshop.com.
Allman here for a longtime Common Sense Radio supporter, Matthew Mitchell, the Matthew Mitchell Allstate Agency, 855-QUOTE-ME. Low premiums and low deductibles on your home, auto, and life, and I have all three of those policies with my good friend Matthew. Also, he's got some great deals for the young driver. You know how expensive it can be to insure them. He's got low premiums and low deductibles, even for your young drivers. 855-QUOTE-ME, 855-QUOTE-ME.
Listen to Allman in the Morning with Alexa. Wake up and say, Alexa, play The Answer St. Louis. Now, back to Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Good morning this morning, everybody. Come on in. CallTammy.com. Real estate listener line is 844-855-1380, 844-855-1380.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Secretary of State Pompeo on the Easter Sunday massacre in Sri Lanka.
Today our nation grieves with the people of Sri Lanka, and we stand committed, resolved to confront terrorism together.
Sri Lankan authorities say a domestic Islamic terror group responsible for the suicide bombings that killed 290 people, the blast targeting churches and schools. Correspondent Emily Schmall in Colombo says officials are digging deep. They're trying to find out more about the terrorists.
They're still investigating to determine whether these bombers in this group had international ties or international links. Very little is known about the group, and authorities didn't elaborate too much on motive and declined to say whether they suspected any ties to Islamic extremists.
Sri Lanka's health minister says officials failed to heed intelligence agency warnings about the threat of an attack over the Easter holiday. The Trump administration putting 5 countries on notice, including allies Japan, South Korea, and Turkey, saying they will no longer be exempt from U.S. sanctions if they continue importing oil from Iran.
The goal remains simple: to deprive the outlaw regime of the funds it has used to destabilize the Middle East for 4 decades and incentivize Iran to behave like a normal country.
Secretary of State Pompeo says up to 40% of the Tehran regime's revenue comes from oil sales. As House Democrats assess their next moves after release of the Mueller report, President Trump cautions that drawn-out investigations will cost the country greatly, and the president says it will cost the Dems big time in 2020. On Wall Street, stocks starting off the week on a down note. The Dow is off about 64 points. The NASDAQ Composite Index 8 points lower, and the S&P currently down a fraction. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
It's looking a little bit more like a rush hour out there. Reports of an accident still Jefferson and Shenandoah. Northbound 270, that has gotten heavier. Gravois to Manchester, the backup. 44 eastbound Elm to Laclede Station Road slowing. 64 westbound 15th Street to 55, just a slight delay there. 6440 eastbound McKnight to Big Bend backed up. Westbound it's Hampton to Laclede Station Road. And starting at 9 a.m. and running until the middle of May, the exit from eastbound 6440 to 14th Street will be closed with roadwork. Traffic is sponsored by eBay. You know when you're shopping and you find that absolutely perfect thing, that feeling you get? And then you see the price and you're like, wait, it's how much? And then you get sad and eat a donut. But did you check eBay? eBay has that thing you want for the price you want. I'm Bonnie Green with your St. Louis Metro traffic on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
1380 The Answer. Weather.
We'll have partly sunny skies today. It will be very warm with a high of 84. Partly cloudy and mild tonight with a low of 60. Tuesday, mostly cloudy skies. It'll be cooler with a shower or thunderstorm around. Tuesday's high 70. Mostly cloudy skies Wednesday with a brief shower or two. Wednesday's high 70. Cloudy skies expected for Thursday with spotty showers and a high of 71. I'm Drew Shannon with your St. Louis Metro forecast on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Hey folks, Allman here. I hope to see you Thursday, May 9th in beautiful Brentwood for Allman and Elder in the evening. That's right, Larry Elder coming to St. Louis, and we're going to wow you from the View 17 stage. And ladies and gents, if you pay $79 for the VIP ticket, what you're going to get in return, free drinks, free food, a free book, a lot like me from Larry Elder, the world-famous book about his dad. He's going to sign that for you. We'll take pictures. We'll take a tour of the beautiful Allman in the Morning studio, and you're going to get a great show from that gorgeous stage. It's Allman and Elder in the evening. Tickets available not only at the VIP level, but also at the general admission level for $13.80 at theanswerstl.com. Allman in the evening, sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet. That's right, Michael, a longtime friend of mine, your specialist in hardwood, laminate flooring, tile, and carpet, michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
Imagine doing one thing that gives you an entirely different perspective about your place in the world. Think it would be worth it? Dennis Prager here, inviting you to join me for a 10-day Stand with Israel tour, a tour through the land of Israel in December 2019. Come with me to get first-hand insight into Israel's fascinating past and promising future. Walk the ancient temple steps, sail on the Sea of Galilee, and so many more unforgettable moments. Return home inspired, renewed, and empowered If you've ever dreamed of seeing Israel, this is your opportunity. With expert guides and important lectures at key sites, we'll be together in the comfort and safety of luxurious accommodations the whole time. Join me for a life-changing adventure to give you a renewed sense of purpose.
Join Dennis Prager and Mike Gallagher for an unforgettable guided tour through Israel this December 2nd through 11th. Book your trip now at theanswerstl.com.
This hour of Allman in the Morning is brought to you in part by Dr. Anna Smith. Come see what your smile can be at Dentistry with TLC.
Common Sense Radio with Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Good morning this morning. Good morning this morning. Happy Easter Monday to all of you. Good morning. Call on in if you want to. Call Tammy.com. Real estate listener lines 844-855-1380. I just got a nice little text from Natalie. And she just sent me this morning. I think, I didn't get a response from her as to whether or not she made it, but I think she did because I looked at the origin of it. It's from the Paint by Numbers app on the computer, and it looks like she painted by numbers this "Pray for Notre Dame" thing, or she found it someplace. But I think she painted it because she's our little artist there. But she's amazing. Thank you, Natalie, sweetie. I'm trying to confirm whether or not she made that, but I think she did. She put it on that little Paint by Numbers app. We actually had one of these things where it's the I didn't realize because Lily and Natalie both sometimes use these creative apps on their iPad and their phones, and I, obviously within reason. But these things all have like subscriptions to them. So you go over your Amex card, you're like going, what are all these charges on here? It's like $5 every 3 or 4 days or something. It's like, what? They sign these kids up. I don't know. You all, if you have kids and they're doing all the apps and stuff like that, you need to make sure you check your bill, because some of these apps have these subscriptions on them and they like renew every 7 days or something. It's really, it piles up big time. And if they have a couple, great. But if they have like 10 that they're just kind of wandering around on, then it costs you some money. So anyway, I say we keep, Natalie, the Paint by Numbers app for you, because you did a really good job with it. I'm pretty sure she wouldn't have sent that to me, I think, if she didn't make it. So thank you, sweetie. All right. This is interesting. Are you wondering why the Democrats are so heavily focused on and right now, by the way, CNN is John Stelter, whatever his humongo head name is, Brian. They're complaining that Sri Lanka is blocking social media after the Easter bombings. Well, it's no wonder, because that's what the Moods are using to incite the violence. And it's so interesting how, the news is saying that they're a lone wolf, or they're a homegrown cell, just to kind of diminish the fact that these terrorists are just simply cogs in a larger radical Islamic wheel that continues to kill people and damage things, start fires in churches in France. And I'm not saying that happened with Notre Dame. What about the other 11 that we haven't heard from? Anyway, on to what I was going to talk about. So you wonder why Democrats aren't you see this Swalwell guy who is running for president, right? And he's saying that he wants to seize your guns, take your guns, but or what he'll do is he'll want to keep your guns in a safe place, like a gun store. Remember that? I told you about that last week, this Swalwell guy. And first of all, two things I reacted to when Swalwell said that. It made me want to go buy another gun, and one that is semi-automatic and shoots a lot, the kind that he wants to take. I'm gonna buy one. It's kind of like when I see stories about like E. coli at Taco Bell, I just get hungry for Taco Bell. You know what I mean? Isn't that weird? You ever see these E. coli outbreaks, and all they do is show some errant Taco Bell someplace, and all I'm thinking of is, wow, you know what? A 7-layer burrito would be delicious right now. They're always the safest place to eat after they do the E. coli thing. There's no way that there's going to be E. coli after somebody already got it. It's going to be over at that point. Anyway, it made me hungry for more guns when Swalwell talked about taking my gun. And it also made me want to just simply dare him to come to my house and try to take the gun away. But I love how he's gonna keep our guns for us. But Swalwell's the only moron who's really out there talking about this kind of thing. And most Democrats who pay attention to the news are wise to this, what's going on in, for instance, Colorado. And this is actually NBC News that reported on this. So Hickenlooper was interviewed, by the way, and Hickenlooper is another one of these individuals who is wanting to run for office here, for president. But he's the Colorado governor. And they interviewed him. Here's how I think he was talking about the new Green Deal and all this other stuff. And he was, there's a commercial here.
Intelligence helps you manage online
I didn't want to play the commercial.
And in-store
I should
employees.
charge you for this. You can turn me down while I let this thing play out here. But Hickenlooper's interviewing on MSNBC, and he has not had to address what's happened in Colorado with the anti-gun laws. Here he is. Here's Lawrence O'Donnell interviewing.
Democratic presidential candidate John Hickenlooper. And Governor, you are in the third day of your presidential campaign. And I'm going to try to get us through a lot more issues as quickly as we can. Your position on Medicare for all.
You know, I think that
Anyway, Hickenlooper's looked upon as he's one of these guys. He's probably going to kind of take on the Mayor Buttigieg or whatever his name is, Mayor Pete's mantle of being, the great white genius. But Hickenlooper has a real big problem. And so do any Democrats who decide that they're going to try and push the anti-gun thing. So Hickenlooper right now, and this is NBC reporting this, if you can believe it. Here's their lead sentence. Former Colorado Governor John Hickenlooper bills himself as the experienced, consensus-building Democrat in the 2020 presidential race. One who has successfully tackled divisive issues like gun control. And this is NBC News, but they didn't actually do a story on this. This is on their online version. But his signature achievement as governor, a package of gun bills passed in 2013, was undertaken without any Republican support and exacted great political cost on state Democrats. Some of these people who were behind these bills were recalled or resigned because voters were so angry. And this is in Colorado, where you'd think they'd be more liberal. And maybe in some ways they are, but even liberals are gun owners, some of them at least. Hickenlooper has since expressed serious misgivings about how he handled the issue, publicly pondering whether it was worth it and apologizing to one of the key players in the process. So it began, basically, this whole thing began when they had the Aurora, Colorado movie theater killing. 12 people dead. 70 others injured. The experts testified during his trial that basically he was just a sick person with an AR-15, a 12-gauge shotgun, and a .40 caliber semi-automatic pistol. I happen to have all three of those exact types of weapons, and Swalwell or anybody else will never take those away from me, ever. Anyway, this person who shot up the place, Holmes, bought all the firearms legally. So the national and local gun groups and all these mental health advocates all banded together and pushed these tough gun control laws where gun rights actually in Colorado enjoy a pretty significant support among people. So there was a high capacity magazine ban, limited magazines to 15 rounds. A second put in place universal background checks for all gun purchases, so expanding the checks to sales and transfers even between private parties and online purchases. And the third measure required gun purchasers to pay for the background checks. So all three of the bills passed, the Senate and the House, and the votes were entirely along party lines. And then the Republicans and the gun control backlash came, what NBC calls fast and furious. It's an interesting choice of words. The National Rifle Association, the Rocky Mountain gun owners, and other groups organized residents to gather signatures and forced recall elections in the districts of two key Senate Democrats who had supported the gun control legislation. And there are other people who were basically just, they decided to just resign rather than be defeated. So then Mayors Against Illegal Guns, run by Bloomberg, they spent almost $350,000 to help fight all these recalls, but they didn't make it. They came in to try to rescue these people. So now it looks like Hickenlooper is apologizing for all of that, and even if he runs for president, might not even win his own state because the Coloradans are incensed. So Hickenlooper didn't even imagine that they would have this kind of situation, and the associations who wanted to meet with him, he declined to meet with them, and he actually apologized for saying he wasn't going to. He didn't want to meet with them. It was the Republican Governors Association, and he said, "I'm not meeting with you on this." And so now he's paying the price. But this is why you don't see a whole lot of Democrats pushing the whole gun control debate, because they kind of know what's going on. They know the writing's on the wall, and Colorado was a perfect test for that. And Colorado, of all places, you'd think maybe a few Republicans would squeak through and vote for anti-gun legislation, but they didn't do it. And so now you have only Swalwell out there promoting this whole wacky idea that somehow he's going to that actually he's going to be the standard bearer for bringing people together. He didn't do that. And again, I'm always a little suspicious about the whole bipartisan thing anyway. I think to a certain degree that's way over rated, the whole bipartisan stuff. I think we've lived through bipartisanship for 25 years, and all Republicans did was throw good Americans under the bus in working with Democrats, and that's what we got. By the way, it turns out, in a follow-up to the Sri Lankan thing, that the government had warnings weeks before this thing happened in Sri Lanka. But part of what's coming out of this whole thing is that the Sri Lankan government, like a lot of other government entities out there, was too afraid of upsetting Islamic jihadists or the Muslim world. And so sometimes in order to aggressively battle these kinds of things, you have to actually go after people either preaching in mosques or doing whatever, and they won't do it because they're afraid of being called Islamophobia. It's interesting. Fox News has a figure up there saying 16 churches have been attacked around the places of worship since 2017. And they say that they're churches, synagogues, and mosques First of all, how many of them are churches? And secondly, how did Fox News come up with this headline that 16 around the world since 2017, when there have been 11 in France alone that have been attacked in the last 2 months? So what constitutes an attack on a house of worship? I don't know what Fox News is doing here. What constitutes an attack on a house of worship? Do any of you know? And I guess it's kind of like what constitutes a mass shooting. It's got to be 4 or more people, apparently. But what constitutes an attack on a house of worship? Because in France alone, if you go back to 2016, when there was a plot uncovered to blow up Notre Dame, in France alone, you can calculate at the very least 12 of them in the last since 2016, and 11 of them in the last 2 months. So I don't know where Fox is getting this 16 around the world since 2017. I guess spreading feces along a wall or of a church isn't an attack on a house of worship, or going in and beating with a bat the altar of a church, is that not an attack on a house of worship? What's an attack on a house of worship? I have no idea. By the way, too, this news came across, and I had to laugh because it's almost so ridiculous. But you know where Macron's first stop was in trying to decide how to rebuild Notre Dame? The United Nations. I'm thinking, okay. And apparently he's meeting with these United Nations architects or something, or the cultural, I'm telling you, this is called the United Nations Cultural Committee or something. I'm not kidding you. That's I'm thinking, first of all, Notre Dame is a celebrated cathedral in France. So there's really no reason for Macron to be consulting Moroccans over how to rebuild the damn thing. Seriously. But that's your typical liberal in France. Again, they might have something to say in terms of the fact that it's 800 years old, and so there might be some degree of expertise lent by some people who know a little bit about ancient edifices. I get it, but how the United Nations is playing into the rebuilding of this thing is beyond me and scary. Your phone calls are welcome. The calltammy.com real estate listener line is 844-855-1380. It's Common Sense Radio.
Coming up on 1380 and 105.3, The Answer. Dennis Prager. The Dennis Prager Show.
Texas State University student government votes to ban Turning Point USA from campus. If this student government at Texas State University is representative of students at Texas universities, then the future is bleak in terms of liberty. I'm actually getting angry at people who don't understand what is happening in the country.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekday mornings at 11 on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer. Breaking news. Stimulating talk.
Good morning this morning. And how about Arrowhead Building Supply? Just love it. And by the way, if you go to arrowheadbuildingsupply.com, and by the way, we're in the Arrowhead Building Supply studios. Thank you very much for that. So right before Easter, Rick texted me and said, buddy, we are now fully open, and I was able to see it before, but I'm going to go back there and see it ultimately in its full regalia, and that is the Arrowhead Building Supply showroom out in St. Peter's. Now, this is a showroom that is absolutely gorgeous. You know why? Because it's a showroom that has a house built inside of it. So you're talking about a 3-story home built inside this showroom. And I've toured it, I've seen it, but I'm going to see it ultimately when the ribbon cutting, so to speak, happens. But this is a beautiful, beautiful thing. So what you're seeing is you walk into the showroom and you're walking into a house or a place where you can see a house. So you can see what the siding looks like. You can see what roofing shingles you might be in the market for look like. You could see what certain decorations, pergolas, and all kinds of the Versetta stone, which is a stone exterior and interior. So you're seeing an interior and exterior of a house, and you're seeing every Arrowhead Building Supply product the way it's going to look on a house. Like he has the Cube, which is a home visualizer, which is cool because you can actually see what it looks like on your house. But then this is even cooler because you actually see what it looks like on a house and get a better idea of even what it's all going to look like. And that was a pretty big investment on the part of Arrowhead Building Supply, but no surprise coming from the Pogues, who are always hungry for your business and always there to help you as a homeowner as well as a contractor. So they've got the contractor referral service out there, but they also have the 315 guarantee for you contractors and no longer than a 15 wait time for redelivery. So it's an amazing thing they do for the homeowner. It's an amazing thing they do for the contractor, and it's an amazing thing they do for both of you, as you can bring your contractor out to their brand new showroom and see what it's all looking like at Arrowhead Building Supply, arrowheadbuildingsupply.com.
Smash here to tell you a little bit about what's going on Sunday mornings with me here at 1380 AM and 105.3 FM, The Answer. Now, ever since I was a youngster, I loved what they call gospel music. It's about praise to He on high. Along the way, I came to believe in God, start feeling better. 2009, I'm a part of a national radio company, 2,600-person talent purge. As they say, just business. So I sit the sidelines for 10 years, now coming out of that forced retirement, but not wanting to get back into playing as much as I love the Doobie Brothers, Old Black Water for the 1,000,000th computer-dictated time. I'm praying on it, Lord gives it to me. People's Praise Party, where the word is in the music. Turning you on to songs I'm sure you never heard, and I know you never heard, this kind of testifying from me. Sunday mornings, 11 o'clock, is waiting on you. Right here at 1380 AM and 105.3 FM, The Answer.
All right, folks, my pillow time, and it's time for you to get in while the getting's good on these super comfy pillows and super amazing high thread count sheets made of cotton, grown in the land of cotton, which is actually near the Mediterranean Sea and the Nile. All that little convergence there is a beautiful place to grow cotton, and that's where Mike Lindell goes and grabs it and brings it back here for high thread count comfy sheets that are going to sleep you coolly as well, and that's an important consideration too. These sheets are now available to you at 30% off when you drop my name on them at mypillow.com/Jamie. It's mypillow.com/Jamie, and that's going to give you a 30% off coupon for your dream sheets. These are called the Giza Dream Sheets. Also, by the way, speaking of great deals, they have the wonderful deal known as the My Pillow package. So you've got 2 regular pillows, and then you're going to have 2 pillows that are kind of the to-go pillows. You can take them anywhere you want. So if people don't have the comfort of the My Pillow where they are, you can actually take it with you and have it right at your ready. And this way, you're going to get free shipping and a great discount when you use the promo code Jamie, mypillow.com/Jamie.
Hey, want to talk with Jamie? Call 844-855-1380. 844-855-1380. And interact with Common Sense Radio. This is Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
So you wonder why John Brennan is running his big fat traitor's mouth so much. It turns out that he actually might have been the one colluding with the Russians, knowingly or unknowingly. But the dossier, by the way, the New York Times is reporting this morning, is more than likely a concoction of the Russians, meant as a disinformation campaign, and Brennan and the gang were more than happy to shovel it the way of the media and even to the FBI, knowing there was a large possibility it was absolutely false. So we're going to follow up on that. And Jussie Smollett, though, by the way, there's an update on him, too. Apparently, he's having night terrors. So, and apparently the people in his night terrors are wearing Make America Great Again hats as they will for the rest of his life.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. Secretary of State Pompeo says the U.S. grieves with the people of Sri Lanka following the Easter Sunday massacre that left almost 300 people dead. Pompeo says the U.S. also stands shoulder to shoulder with Sri Lanka in the fight against terrorism. The Trump administration putting 5 countries, including allies Japan, South Korea, and Turkey, on notice. They will no longer be exempt from U.S. sanctions if they continue buying oil from Iran. Secretary of State Pompeo says up to 40% of the Tehran regime's revenue comes from oil sales. As House Democrats assess their next steps after release of the Mueller report, President Trump cautions that a drawn-out investigation will cost the country greatly, and it will cost the Dems big time in 2020. The Dow down 59 points. More details at srnnews.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Looks like the meat of our rush hour pretty much over. We do have a slight delay on 270 northbound, Big Bend to Manchester, but that's coming down. And 6440 eastbound, heavy still Clayton Warson to Big Bend. 170 southbound, slight delays there, Brentwood Boulevard to 6440. Midday road work today, 9 to 4:30 in the right lane on westbound 64 on the Poplar Street Bridge. And also starting at 9 a.m., but going until March 15th, the exit from eastbound 6440 to 14th Street will close. Traffic is sponsored by Express Services, Inc. You work hard, you know what it takes to succeed. Now it's time to put your experience to work and launch your business. For a limited time, Express Employment Professionals will give you $25,000 to open your franchise. Get to know Express. Visit expressfranchising.com today. I'm Bonnie Green with your St. Louis Metro traffic on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
1380 The Answer. Weather.
We'll have partly sunny skies today. It will be very warm with a high of 84. Partly cloudy and mild tonight with a low of 60. Tuesday, mostly cloudy skies. It'll be cooler with a shower or thunderstorm around. Tuesday's high 70. Mostly cloudy skies Wednesday with a brief shower or two. Wednesday's high 70. Cloudy skies expected for Thursday with spotty showers and a high of 71. I'm Drew Shannon with your St. Louis Metro forecast on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Hey folks, Allman here. I hope to see you Thursday, May 9th in beautiful Brentwood for Allman and Elder in the evening. That's right, Larry Elder coming to St. Louis, and we're going to wow you from the View 17 stage. And ladies and gents, if you pay $79 for the VIP ticket, what you're going to get in return, free drinks, free food, a free book, a lot like me from Larry Elder, the world-famous book about his dad. He's going to sign that for you. We'll take pictures. We'll take a tour of the beautiful Allman in the Morning studio, and you're going to get a great show from that gorgeous stage. It's Allman and Elder in the evening. Tickets available not only at the VIP level, but also at the general admission level for $13.80 at theanswerstl.com. Allman in the evening, sponsored by Dryden Camus Insurance, the answer to your health insurance needs. KDDI-INS.
Dana Lash.
There's a lot of things I don't do. I'm willing to give up free time to get engaged and go out, whether it's for city council, whether it's for whatever it is, to hold the fort in my area. Everybody out there has to do the same. I don't believe in the excuse I don't have the time. I just don't believe it. Be honest with you, I don't have any sympathy for anybody who says that. To me, it sounds like a cop-out. People want to warm their hands by somebody else's fire. They'll let everyone else do the heavy lifting for them.
The Dana Show. Weekdays at 1 on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Greetings, St. Louis. This is Matthew Mitchell of the Matthew Mitchell Allstate Agency. Excited to welcome Jamie Allman back to St. Louis Radio. As a longtime supporter and sponsor of Allman in the Morning, my goal as his trusted advisor is to make sure that you are in good hands. With over 70 years of combined staff experience, my team of agents and I know how to make sure that you get the best value for the money you spend on your insurance. Is your insurance company currently hiding behind a website, out of town, or just a call center with no accountability to you or our community? Would you like to speak to the same person every time you call? Is there a new roof on your home? Do you have a teenage driver in your family? Has your credit score improved greatly over the last few years? You can email me at matthewmitchell@allstate.com, or you can call my agents at 855-QUOTE-ME. Folks, there is safety in numbers. Put the power of Allstate to work for you as America's largest and strongest insurance company. This is Matthew Mitchell of the Matthew Mitchell Allstate Agency. Again, the number to call is 855-QUOTE-ME.
This hour of Allman in the Morning is brought to you in part by Dr. Anna Smith, the #1 provider of oral sleep appliances in the United States. Learn more at cpapsucks.com.
Larry Elder, tonight at 5. Now, back to Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Good morning this morning again. Happy Monday, y'all. Still laughing at that dude going after Robert Mueller after church. Thank you, Satan, for that one. I'm going to play that over again, too. I had too much fun hazing that guy, riding him like a rented mule. What's great is that nobody knows who that reporter is. Apparently, he was like he had the task on Easter Sunday of ambushing Robert Mueller while he left Easter service. Get into that in a second. I think it's pretty cool I have a trusted advisor, dude. You know what I'm saying? Matthew Mitchell just said he was my trusted advisor, and he is, but I didn't realize that I actually have a trusted advisor. That's a pretty big deal. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm something now that I have a trusted advisor. So you know what? You know what's great is I have a billboard and a trusted advisor. I mean, honestly, what more could you possibly want out of life than a billboard and a trusted advisor? I mean, obviously there are some other things you'd want out of life. But let me tell you something. I've made it. You can't take that away from me. Let me tell you something. I got a billboard and a trusted advisor. Now lay your hands off me, D'Artagnan, or wherever you are. Get away from me. I have a billboard. Something I use all the time. Excuse me. Did you know that I have a billboard? Oh, man. The things I would do, like if I just had a camera and just went around everywhere and just walk up to somebody. Hey, guess what? I have a billboard. And just see what they say.
It's billboards, I believe, even.
Yes,
right?
It's multiple billboards, my friends, and multiple trusted advisors. I have a team. I have a team of advisors. It's pretty cool. So leave me alone. I could quit right now, and my life would have been wildly successful. Once I got the billboard, I was in like Flynn. Let me tell you. You know what I would also do? Have you ever watched like Japanese game shows?
More than you would believe.
Dude.
Tons and tons and tons of them.
Oh, I love them because, well, it's that or Brazilians do a pretty good job too. Like Brazilians are insane. So they create things, just YouTube or Google or whatever, Brazilian game show. And their game shows are where they'll put people like in elevators, and like a guy will come in. These guys bringing in coffins into the elevator or something, and then the coffin opens up and the guy falls out, and it scares the daylights out of people. They've had one where there was one where they had an elevator. I don't know how they do this, but they had an elevator, and there was like the power would kind of go out in the elevator. And then it would turn back on, and there'd be like this little girl with, like a ghost girl in the elevator. It would scare the daylights out of people. If I could do that, I'd do that all day long. But the problem is, you'd think that somebody, like, what if somebody like had a heart attack or something? You know what I mean? In Japan, they just walk up behind people and scream. Have you seen those? Like on the street, they'll sneak up behind somebody and go, ah! And then it will scare people half to death. I could watch that stuff all day long. Japanese and the Brazilians are sick, man. The same thing that made the Japanese truly evil in World War II, now they've actually turned all of their weirdness into something positive, such as karaoke and game shows. But yeah, they are there's some weird people over there. But I mean, things that floats their boat over in Japan is crazy. And Brazil. And what's funny is the Brazilian guys are the game show guys. The game they do the sound and they keep the game show host mic open. So he's like, aha! And they're laughing at people all the time. Somebody's like truly like scared to death. These are people who really actually believe that they're either going to die or something. And you hear in the background, ha 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 ha, arriba, like everybody's like yelling, laughing. Love those things. Why did I bring that up? Oh, because that's something I would do if I had all day. But I don't. So you're lucky. Otherwise, Jamie Allman would be walking up by and going, wah! Anyway, speaking of funny, Ukraine just elected this comedian as president, and he actually played the president on TV. And now he's the president of the Ukraine. I actually, you can't, for whatever reason, at some point, they started to forbid us from saying the Ukraine. It's now Ukraine. Why'd that happen? This Volodymyr Zelensky, he basically is the Eastern European version of Alec Baldwin. Like Baldwin does Trump, not very well, by the way. And even Alec Baldwin says that. So it was a landslide. Results from all polling stations show that it's won the Ukrainian presidential runoff in a landslide. Unlike in most of the elections in Ukraine's post-Soviet history, he appears to have won both in Ukraine's west and east, which apparently is almost impossible to do, but he did. And people will think this is funny or a joke or whatever, but the reality is Ukrainians are not unlike a lot of Americans. They've been there, done that with other politicians before. And in their mind, it's kind of like, well, what do we have to lose? These other people haven't done much for us anyway, so what do we have to do? So they've got a lot of problems. Obviously, there's huge corruption in the government already. Sound familiar? Poverty is widespread, and the cost of living have sent a lot of Ukrainians just out, leaving the country. But Phil and I were talking off the air about this. I know some Ukrainians, and they're tough as nails, man. They're about as tough as, like, for instance, Bosnians are. Those people. They're really tough, hardy people, and they love America. That's for sure. Although to a certain degree, there's some level of disagreement over some of the ways that we've been allowing Ukraine to be toyed with by Putin and that kind of thing. And I think Republicans and Democrats have done that. But, man, Ukrainians are tough people. And again, they love America. And it's so funny because they actually speak. You could tell a Ukrainian a mile away. Isn't that right, Phil? A Ukrainian American a mile away. I actually was hearing a Ukrainian expert on Fox News. I was just hearing his voice, and I thought it was my friend. I thought it was him. Oh, that's Mike. No, not. It's and they're smart. They're very smart and good. Russians. Well, I know my Russian locksmith was pretty smart. I knew the minute that those guys in the Eastern Bloc countries, man, these dudes are pretty solid people. But this Russian, I knew that I knew I'd be into my car in like a second. the minute I knew that Vladimir was on the way. You know what I mean? You knew he was going to be able to pop in. It's interesting. The reason why you have so much of the internet hacking and all that kind of stuff that originates in Russia, and why you have all this crazy internet stuff coming out of Russia, is because for a while there, that's all they had. There's nothing to do over there because there's barely, unless you work in the oil business or whatever, or you're in the business, there's very little. Young people have very dark futures over there in Russia. And so once the Soviet Union busted up and they all kind of had to rely on good old fashioned capitalism or whatever, they had real problems. So there's nothing for them to do out there but tinker around and commit fraud and all kinds of stuff because they otherwise don't have anything to do. Speaking of frauds, ladies and gentlemen, the latest from Gateway Pundit. And by the way, I told you earlier that the New York Times is reporting this morning that, and I think we kind of knew this already, but the reality is we suspected it but didn't know it for sure. But the Steele dossier, I know when it first came out and BuzzFeed put it together, it was so simply put together, some of the wording and everything else, and it seemed like it was a long shot that an American put it together because it was written so clumsily. It's kind of like when you get these things on the internet, you see these things put together by people from foreign countries, or you get phone calls from somebody claiming to be with the IRS. This is the IRS. You must call immediately or a warrant will be issued for arrest. It's like, oh, right. I one time got into it. I think this was a real guy, though, about the census. And I wasn't going to fill it out or something like that. And I got into a big argument with this dude who claimed that I was going to go to jail for not filling out the census. Like, bite me. It was worse than that, though. Actually, for a second there, I thought, golly, I wonder if I'm going to get in trouble. Anyway, so we knew that this dossier might have been something put together by the Russians, but the New York Times is reporting this morning that absolutely it was meant as a disinformation campaign, whatever else. But as Jimmy Hoff pointed out earlier, Rand Paul said in March that why Brennan isn't held to account for this is beyond me, but he will. He's going to get his one of these days, and it's going to be lovely to see. I wish it was at the end of a rope, but unfortunately probably not going to be happening. But Senator Rand Paul announced in March that John Brennan, according to a high-level source of Rand Paul's, insisted Hillary's fake Russia dossier be included in the intelligence report that was ultimately offered up and was given to Congress and was given to the FBI and provided the basis for the FISA warrants, everything else. Brennan has repeatedly denied that the dossier was used in the intelligence community's assessment of Russian interference in the 2016 election. He said it wasn't included in there, but it was. He lied. Rand Paul said Brennan should be asked to testify under oath in Congress as soon as possible. That I would love to see. This guy is dirty, dark, and incompetent. And he, not only is he, if you go back to the time when he was a CIA bureau chief in Kenya during the Khobar Towers bombing, where 17 American servicemen died under Bozo's watch. People kind of forget that these guys are as incompetent as they actually are, but they are. Clapper's the same way. And by the way, their incompetence is, in my opinion, detailed, guess where? In the Mueller report. Because if you actually take yourself out of whatever people are trying to do with it, either defend Trump or nail him, if you take yourself out of it, you're looking at a Mueller investigation that discovered countless times where the Russians were attempting to interfere with the election. Countless times. All times that have actually never been detailed by anybody in our intelligence community. You realize the 2016 election was going on while Obama was in office, while Brennan was in office, while Clapper was in office, while Comey was there, while all of our heroic intelligence community was in action, right? The ones who are risking their lives to protect us. Well, apparently they completely missed these. Or they knew about them but didn't tell us. Or it actually was half of the attempts were actually just fake agents working for the United States trying to entrap President Trump. But people kind of missed that the Mueller report itself, if it weren't for the Mueller investigation, we wouldn't know all those examples of the Russians trying to interfere with the elections. We wouldn't know that without the Mueller investigation. Isn't that odd? Because I'll tell you one thing, Brennan and Clapper never detailed any of these incidences. Not once. And Obama didn't either. Did you hear anything about this other than the WikiLeaks email thing? Did you ever hear during the election, with the exception of maybe somebody like buying an ad or something on Facebook, which I still haven't seen, by the way, during this election, was there ever a time when the intelligence community came up and said, hey, the Russians are trying to interfere with the election? Did you ever hear from them? No, you didn't. Why? Because they didn't know. Because they're incompetent. If you wonder how 3,000 Americans were incinerated on September 11th, 2001, just look to these guys. They're all born and bred incompetent intelligence apparati who I don't even know what they do, what they're doing what they're doing for a living. So many people have died under their watch. It's impossible to figure out, like, what exactly was it that you did? Like, I realize that if anything, the FBI has been pretty good about disrupting certain terror attacks. But what is Brennan and Clapper? What have they done? Makes you wonder. Because all I see is death of Americans all over the joint that they missed. Bob Woodward actually said this on Sunday. He recently learned that the unverified Trump dossier appeared in an early draft of a U.S. intelligence community assessment on Russian election interference. Woodward said this on Fox News Sunday, as a matter of fact. Woodward suggested its inclusion was at the behest of the Central Intelligence Agency, but it was ultimately taken out after being reviewed by intelligence experts. So this is confirmed by Bob Woodward, of all people. So Brennan, it's no wonder he's squealing like a stuck pig, because he's stuck and he's a pig. And his time is on the way, hopefully. Your phone calls are welcome. Call Taman.com. Real estate listener line is 844-855-1380. It's Common Sense Radio.
Live from the Arrowhead Building Supply Studio, this is Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Imagine doing one thing that gives you an entirely different perspective about your place in the world. Think it would be worth it? Dennis Prager here, inviting you to join me for a 10-day Stand with Israel tour, a tour through the land of Israel in December 2019. Come with me to get firsthand insight into Israel's fascinating past and promising future. Walk the ancient temple steps, sail on the Sea of Galilee, and so many more unforgettable moments. Return home inspired, renewed, and empowered. If you've ever dreamed of seeing Israel, this is your opportunity. With expert guides and important lectures at key sites, we'll be together in the comfort and safety of luxurious accommodations the whole time. Join me for a life-changing adventure to give you a renewed sense of purpose.
Join Dennis Prager and Mike Gallagher for an unforgettable guided tour through Israel this December 2nd through 11th. Book your trip now at theanswerstl.com.
Good morning this morning. Skin and Laser Institute of St. Louis. I love Dr. Elira Figueroa and what she's going to do for your skin and for your overall health. And you know what? Even if you have a battle that you are going under with cellulite or unwanted elements of fat as you are beginning your vacation time, or you're thinking about putting yourself in a swimming suit or whatever, I want to make sure you're already hooked up with Dr. Elira Figueroa and the Skin and Laser Institute. So she has all kinds of different ways that she's going to be able to reduce that fat. Maybe you have that stubborn fat on your sides or on your thighs or whatever. She can melt that away and tighten your skin and do all that kind of stuff as you prepare for a summer in a swimming suit. So that's fantastic. On top of that, she also has an entire list. I love this because I just did one a week and a half ago, where I went in and got an IV, which is this vitamin-inducing and immunity-boosting energy pop that you get through an IV. But there are all kinds of different ways, different IVs that Dr. Elira Figueroa and her staff are going to be able to present you with. So there's a whole menu of all kinds of different things. Sometimes it's a late night out and you need a little, refurbishing of yourself, so you're out partying a little too much. They have those for you. They have an immunity boost. They have something that's specifically designed to brighten up your skin. Do whatever it happens to be. They have an IV for you and for your needs. It's painless. It's easy. It's absolutely just comfortable. And the whole setting there in Sunset Hills is gorgeous. It's skinlaserinstitute.com, skinlaserstl.com. Also on Instagram, where you can see all kinds of videos and things like that kind of display. I'm on the Facebook page for the Skin and Laser Institute, where I'm getting my IV, and you can see how comfortable and happy I am doing so. Don't forget, too, about the many different ways that she's able to brighten your face. So she's got the microneedling and the Botox, but also the hydrofacials, which are really cool. I mean, I had one, again, a couple weeks ago, and it was great. What happens is it's taking off that kind of a crumbly layer of your top skin, and it's revealing that beautiful skin underneath, that fresh look that you're wanting, and you're going to get it with skinlaserstl.com. It's Dr. Elira Figueroa and her amazing staff, skinlaserstl.com.
KXFN St. Louis, K287BY St. Louis.
Business owners, self-employed, part-time employees, are you struggling to pay your bills because you no longer can afford your health insurance? Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. With Obamacare premiums skyrocketing, higher deductibles, and shrinking networks, let me introduce you to Dryden Camus Insurance Agency as the answer, the solution. Dryden Camus Insurance Agency has non-Obamacare ACA-compliant plans that do not fund abortion. There's no enrollment period, and you don't have to pay for expensive extras like pediatric dentistry or maternity care. Contact Joyce at Dryden Camus Insurance Agency and start saving up to 60%. Call 877-695-0245. That's 877-695-0245, or just go to kddi-ins.com. Cut through the confusion and save money with Dryden Camus Insurance Agency, serving Missouri and Illinois. This is the answer. This is the solution. Dryden Camus Insurance Agency. Just go to kddi-ins.com.
Let me tell you something, folks. It's time for Michael's Flooring Outlet. And for those of you who are kind of looking for a brand new look for your home, whether it be in the formulation of carpeting, whether it be in the formulation of wood flooring or laminates, ceramic tiling, he's got all of the beautiful, wonderful different kinds of options for you at michaelsflooringoutlet.com. And another option for you as well is the $500 off coupon. So you just peel that off through June 3rd. It's the tax refund coupon, and you're able to actually get $500 off your next project. And speaking of projects, installation is king with Michael. He started this company with $700 in his pocket 25 years ago. Now it is a burgeoning mecca of flooring for you, all kinds of different great options, and he's very, very always on top of making sure that you're getting the best service possible from start to finish to installation on down the line. It's michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Give him a shout. Go to the website, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. He's in Creve Coeur, in Old Town St. Peters, in Darden Prairie, as well as Florissant. And when you do call him, tell him Allman sent you, and thank him for his support of Common Sense Radio for all of these many years. It's michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Happy Easter Monday.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Sri Lankan authorities looking into whether the domestic terrorist group that's blamed for the Easter Sunday massacre that killed close to 300 people got help from abroad.
As yet, there have been no claims of responsibility by anyone, although there's been a lot of